Had an absolute blast with it. Guild Wars 2 is a huge step up, though. So let me explain why I think Guild Wars 2 is really good, and then we'll come back to this, okay? Guild Wars 2 is a video game that respects your time. It's an MMO, but I never felt like I had to put hours upon hours upon hours into it just to do the fun stuff. And the way that I would explain it is when you play a game like World of Warcraft has what's called vertical progression, where as you level up, you get more powerful, okay? Guild Wars 2 has horizontal progression. Horizontal progression means as you level up, you get more options. You don't become more powerful. Yes, you do have some amount of vertical progression within that horizontal. I got to mute that. Within that horizontal example, but that's just from gear, like getting a new sword or something, right? And most of the time, that's not super important. So when I play Guild Wars 2 and I see some, like I'm a level, I don't remember what the max level is. I'm going to say 60, I think. And I'm a level 60 character. And I convince a friend to play the game. Well, once they finish like their starting quest, we can explore the entire world together and have no problem playing together because the game levels to the player individually. So when you, the level 5 character, and me, the level 80, thank you, the level 80 character, we're playing the same place at the same time, and we're both fighting the same thing, and the game scales based on that. On top of that, it doesn't have a monthly subscription, which means I don't feel like I have to play it. I play Guild Wars when I want to play it. And that is something that shows that ArenaNet, the company who's making Guild Wars 3, that really understands. Okay. So let's go to the article that they posted today, and then we'll talk more about this stuff. So it says our Guild Wars philosophy. Hello, Guild Wars community. Today, Guild Wars 3 update is a big one. I'm going to be talking about the core philosophy that defines the way that we make games. So grab a cup of your favorite drink, sit back, lean forward, and relax. It's reading time. Hey, buddy, what's up?
Say hi.
Hey.
What are you doing?
I'm on a live stream right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
I'm heading out soon, though.
Oh, well,
All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the Lord of the Fallen. The Lord of the Fallen just actually a couple of days ago released a in-depth view on the game. So if you're not aware of Lord of the Fallen is more like Elder Ring kind of game, and it's pretty cool. So let's take a look.
It's nasty. It's got a lot
I
of
love
stuff
this game.
going on.
And you can play co-op.
Such an evocative
Up to 3 people at
environment.
once.
I just love it.
It's very useful to listen to.
I mean, the first one, it came out a couple of years ago. It was really good. So in the first one, what you could do, not only play with 3 people, then you will have a random person to get in the world, basically like invasion. And they will try to take everybody out. And you have to survive. And usually if you're really good, you can just wipe them out because it's just 1 person versus 3. But if all 3 of us are really new, and this guy has been playing for days and weeks, and he's way ahead of us, he gonna melt the shit out of us. So that's what Lord of the Fallen is kind of is about. You can play solo, and also offline if you want to, if you don't want to deal with that. But there is an incentive to kind of go out and kill people on their own world, whatever, when they're doing their mission. I really hate it because you're in the middle of something on a quest, and then out of nowhere the map get locked and you cannot move forward because now you're dealing with a fucking invader. I really hate it, but it on the same time was kind of cool.
To the community.
But let's watch this.
All the details add a lot.
Oh, look at that dragon. Oh, that looks so cool. It's freaking Hump Day.
Welcome back to
Welcome to
Lifting the
Hump Day,
Veil,
people.
our monthly video series on all things Lords of the Fallen 2.
Today we
I love
are
this guy.
diving into the
He's
recent
so cool.
The Battle for Thorngar trailer as premiered during Summer Game Fest. I'm Ryan, your host, and joining me today
Ryan.
is Javi, head of art, Guido, lead sound designer, and James, game director.
These people
Actually,
listen
we're
to
going
the
start
audience.
Halfway
They
through
do
the
listen
trailer,
to the audience.
To begin discussions, we're going to be talking about this screen, a pivotal
It's a 40-minute
moment of the 60 seconds. Probably no surprise at this point, but we can officially confirm that Lords of the Fallen 2 will be launching day one on Steam. I wanted to take a moment, though, to discuss how we're using Unreal Engine 5 and working with our partners at Epic to bring this game to new development heights. So straight over to you, James.
Before James goes, if you're not sure about ever play Lord of the Fallen, Lord of the Fallen has 2 maps. So wherever you are in the world, it has that same map in another layer. So you have a lantern, and when you pull the lantern, you basically see what they call the Umbrum world, basically the dead world. So when you bring the lantern, let's say there is a bridge is broken, but you cannot cross because the bridge is broken. But if you bring the lantern, there may be a bridge on the opposite side. Now you can walk holding the lamp in your hand, crossing the bridge, and when you put it down, you look behind, you basically walk through air. Everybody else will see like you're walking through air, but by you holding the lamp, that you're the only who can basically close that bridge. If your friends are playing with you, they also have to hold the lamp themselves so they can see where they're stepping. It's freaking pretty cool. And if you die, you don't die instantly. You go to the other side, and you have to make it to like a checkpoint. And if you don't make it by certain time in the checkpoint, you will be followed by a Reaper, and he's basically almost unstoppable. That was so much fun, because if you get to kill the Reaper, you get so much reward, so much money. It was a way to farm the crap out of him to a point that the devs find ways how to make the Reaper to be almost unkillable, because there was a way that you can be on a ledge and the Reaper will try to come to you and he will fall and die. So they took that away and made sure that did not happen. But everything that we did, especially people on Steam, we were basically telling like, oh, we should do this. A week later, boom. Just like what was going on with Crimson Desert. If you play Crimson Desert, the developers are listening and they keep updating Crimson Desert. So I bet money they took it from them, from these people, because they were one of those developers. Every time you say something out of nowhere, it was in the game. It was in the game. They fixed it, or they changed it, or they enhanced it.
Yeah, so it's super exciting for us to be able to
James.
release on Steam day one. But this in no way kind of shortens our partnership with Epic. Epic has been incredible from day one of this project. So they have supported us not only in understanding, what was making the project great in terms of the game itself, but also helping us achieve new technical heights.
And I'm glad that he say that, because Epic has a really, really bad fucking problem. And one of their problem is, if they help you on their development of the game, they want you to release the game on their platform first for maybe a year or 2 before you can release it on Steam or something. I really hate that. Basically, trying to get exclusive. And they know what happened last time. Steam community were the best. We were cheering, we were giving them what they needed, and they were fixing. And the game to a point that got really, really good.
Like that we wouldn't have imagined before. The support we've had from them has been absolutely paramount to the success that we're having currently within the development space, within Lords of the Fallen 2. So Epic still and always will remain a very close partner to us and this franchise. So yeah, even with this change, we're super happy to have them on the ride with us. It's been really exciting so far, and I'm super excited to see where it goes in the future with the guys at Epic.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but we use their technology as part of the cross-play shared progression co-op, right?
Yes, so we use a range of elements from not only Epic, but obviously Unreal itself. So Epic Online Services is a huge thing that we leverage within the development.
Just don't get lost. As my title said, gaming news and Unreal. So as soon as we're done here, Epic has an event that actually happens today, and I kind of missed it. So I'm gonna watch their recording. So next is gonna be the state of play for Unreal Engine, or basically Unreal. That's basically Epic.
And this doesn't only just enable our crossplay abilities, but also anything when it comes to co-op, PvP. This is where we really leverage those things. So without those services and having those embedded into our development cycle and our development pipelines, yeah, we wouldn't be able to bring those things to the players. So yeah, Epic have been absolutely awesome in enabling that for us as well.
So in terms of shared progression co-op, firstly, can officially confirm the game will launch with full shared progression day one. So obviously the difference between Lords 2 and Lords 2023, we retroactively fitted the shared progression co-op. So what differences can players expect, considering it's been part of development from day one this time around?
So whenever you have a feature from the inception of a project, right, or in the inception of the concept of the project, we approach that design very differently. So with us, we're always thinking of, not only this being a really robust and enjoyable single-player experience, but then what can co-op players also expect. So seeing how it was working, obviously with Lords of the Fallen 2023, and what players really enjoyed, what they didn't enjoy, we wanted to bring not only those things in, but bring them from a design fundamental perspective. So this can go far and wide, from loot collection to quests to just general maneuvering within the world, and maybe, I won't say too much, but also some sneaky things that you can do within co-op that really bring players closer together. And that's just the benefit of designing this within mind from day one. So it will be shared progression, like you said, from day one, with a few more bells and whistles to really push the experience for those players that want to go into Axiom together.
And you must be happy that you'll be able to summon a co-op partner to help you with this game.
Yeah, I'm a bit more judgy on that one, I would say.
Judgy.
But yeah, I have issues sometimes in the game and I need help. And I would not judge anyone for bringing in some help if you need it. But yeah, maybe not for me.
Okay, so obviously Steam was a very popular request amongst our community. So I think that ties in very nicely to this title slate that we added to the trailer. So players first, it's our company mantra, it's our philosophy.
I love
we want
I love
to
it.
add this in recognition of our community.
Fun fact: technically, this is the third Lord of the Fallen. There was an original Lord of the Fallen that came out early 2000. It was pretty good. It was pretty freaking good. I have it on Steam. Give me 1 second. Let me try to bring. Hmm? Yeah, Lord of the Fallen 2020, 14. Give me a second here.
Fallen God,
Bear with me here.
and destroyer of worlds. Hear my vow!
Wait. I'm sorry. Stupid system here. Come on. Hmm? Oh, there we go. Oh, that's why. Oh, there we go. Oh, nope. There we go. So this was the original Lord of the Fallen. So they took a lot of the premises of the original one and they just enhanced it and elevate it. So they did like a reboot.
Hear my vow.
And it paid off.
Vow of defiance.
Oof. Woo!
I see you heard me.
So that was the trailer for the original one. And this was the cover. You can kind of get an idea of what the game kind of looked like back in 2014. And when I was in school for gaming, we used this game a lot to explore the environment, model, texture, also animation mechanics, combat mechanics, movement, everything. And also Ori in the game Ori and the Wisp, whatever. That one we use that game a lot to refer to and use for references. All right, so let's go ahead and then get back.
And I wanted to ask you guys, what for you does it mean to be players first?
So for me, I really kind of link this to the Souls-like community. Right?
James
I've been
haircut,
working
that
on
used to
these
be my
games for a
haircut.
number of years now, and I think I've mentioned this before. It's one of the best communities to really create games for. They're players that really respect, just general gameplay. We need to respect their time at the same time. They will go into systems. They will learn. They will really, really push. And for me, to bring then a Souls-like, really kind of understand where players first means for us as a development team. That's where my first port of call is. It's listening to those players. What are their, issues within the genre? What can we do within our universe that really pushes it one step further? And it's taking that with, genuine want and need. So it's not like just seeing comments or anything and just going, oh yeah, we can't do that for this reason, or we won't do that because this goes against this other pillar that we have in the game. It's like, no, everything needs to relate back to the player and what they're going to experience day one. So for me, it's really built into me now with this kind of community. I would say I have a lot of affirmation for the Souls-like community. They do punish us in certain aspects as well, like a good old Souls-like. But for me, it really informs decision. It informs thinking, and then getting that into the teams and really having the teams kind of follow that. Super important to me. So yeah, always starts with the community for me.
Guido?
Yeah, I think it's very useful to listen to the community, and very often they provide us with feedback regarding audio. So it's very, again, very useful for us to to have that information and try to make it better, for the next time or next iteration. And because they could also provide some cool ideas sometimes. So yeah, that's a good thing to be open, to the community and react to it.
Okay. And Javi? from an art perspective?
From an art point of view, I think it's not quite different, but it's slightly different because we have to base ourselves on the feedback, on the response that the users gave us from the previous game. Basically, okay, did they like it? They didn't like it. What parts of it was the most appreciated ones? Okay, they find the levels too labyrinthic, or they appreciate that they have to find their way out of a specific area. You know, the mood, the art direction, and everything. So, that being said, we cannot do the same for years. So we need to evolve. We need to get into the next step, the next evolution of the aesthetics of Lords of the Fallen, and that's why we are trying to do in this new title. And based on the reaction of the players to our first trailers,
Yes.
I think we are
Absolutely. And, I think
like it.
would be interesting to mention. So I think it was our previous episode discussed the new Umbral Realm. We released maybe a couple of minutes of footage, and whilst it was largely very well received, one piece of feedback we did get from the community is that Umbral looked overall too static. And that was great feedback. It's very actionable, and we took it to heart. I know you guys have been working very hard to implement that feedback, and some of which was obviously already being worked on.
Look at the
already.
Umbra.
So
This
perhaps
is
you
the
can
de-
just
that's-
discuss, how.
So in the main world, and let's say the real world, so you have the real world, and then that world mimics the real world, but with ugliness, things like this, like skull on the walls and stuff like that. So in the real world, you don't see this. You may see a bridge from, for example, like a bridge link from here over there somewhere. So wherever this bridge will go to, in the real world, you probably will see these. There will be other stuff here, and the skull things will not be there, of course, because that's just the demon world or the dead side. But in the human world, you won't see it. So if you die, you're automatically gonna be in this world instantly. But the lantern or the lamp basically allow you to see it as long as you hold it, right? But there are also monsters or demons on the other side. If you're holding the lamp and you get hit by one of those demons from the other side, it will automatically drag you to this side, to the dead side. And then you have to find a way to get out of there by a certain amount of time. So the longer you're there, the worse in the difficulty is going to be to get the hell out of there. You may not even be able to get out of there if you don't find the checkpoint. So it's like time critical.
We're addressing that specific piece of
I'll put it this way, I beat the game like
something that's always
7-8
interesting,
times.
especially with the Umbral reveal, like going deeper into what that world is and showing players where we're currently at. Some of the comments super valid, and what it actually does is it informs the decisions that we've already taken, right? So we know certain things are coming in, and it's like when you see certain comments, you're like, oh, it would be really cool if it could do this, and it's like, yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? It would be super cool. But it's always like looking at it through that lens and taking that one step back. The one thing that that feedback does for us is, we're super close to the game, right? We see it every day, every minute, and we're always like over the details, going over it again and again and again. And sometimes it's hard to step back and look at the wider picture, and those comments really inform us to take that step back. So when we see certain things like, Umbral's feeling too still, okay, we've not pushed it far enough, the plans that we have aren't going to take it over the line, let's go one step further, what can we leverage, what can we do? And we then try and test it in game straight away. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but we'll always get a result after it. And
look at that.
Yeah, that feedback that then pushes
The bones
us to go back
moving.
and back and forth and go into that really granular detail, but then
So
to look
cool.
at what that feedback can essentially achieve.
Yeah.
So that's how I would look at it.
Yeah,
personally,
that's right. That's right. There's always a matter of finding. We know that Umbral could be much more alive, but then at the end is the world of the dead for us. So it's trying to find the right balance, visually speaking, about what is dead, what is on decomposition, what is on rotting, what's trying to find that formula is kind of tricky. But also, we don't need to forget, so we can't forget, sorry, that there is a technical challenge. It's a huge technical challenge. Here is that we are rendering two worlds at the same time. So you can say that we have a curtain, and there is the world of the living and the world of the dead. Or we have to manage all of
Oh,
them
wow.
at the same time. The memory.
I'm muted at the right moment.
And then trying to find
When
okay,
also
it's a matter of making decisions, prioritizing. Okay, what is best to depict a kind of let's not say living Umbral, let's say dynamic Umbral, because living probably kind of collides a bit with the thing.
collides
I don't know,
with
that's
what it is,
my take on that. But yeah, there's something that doesn't feel static or rock solid, and it could be perceived as cheap or something like a Tresor, something. We are bringing much more in there. We are not unveiling all of that, but yeah, it's really hard.
The things that I've seen that are going to help make it feel alive and breathing really are adding a lot, I feel.
It's much more reactive, I would say, to the player's actions and enemies in Umbral. You could say that you will not fly over Umbral right now. It's pretty, you can actually dodge it.
I would actually, even though I'll throw you under the bus, to be fair, Guido, because it's very easy for us, and especially this feedback also informs this, is like it's very easy to look at the picture, right? And like to look at that, how is it moving? What is it doing? How does the player interact? But then it's like we do that, and it's like, okay, cool, right? This is all like coming together, and it's feeling really cool. But it's not until like Guido and his team like takes that pass and then adds that layer where it's like, oh, now it's really, really feeling like what we wanted it to feel like, right? This sense of dread. There's some aspects or some moments, I would say, that I've witnessed in Umbral now, and due to some of the stuff you've put in, where it's fucking horrific. And
you'll be making use of co-op.
Yeah, and I might use co-op, maybe, if someone pushes me for it. But yeah, it's just like bringing this kind of whole picture together. It's like the pie is complete, right? And so, yeah, again, that feedback has really informed us to go, let's push certain things up in priority. Let's really start to make the scene feel like something different. So I'm super, super excited.
So we showcase a lot of new environments in this one, and I think they're just a taste of an even wider spectrum of biomes that we have in the game. And that environmental variety was another thing that came from the community in response to the last game. But how are we ensuring that those environments feel seamless, and the transitions don't feel jarring, and it doesn't come across as like Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie, where you're jumping into a neat Egyptian world or whatever world it is, that it just feels coherent as one dark fantasy setting.
I think we can all agree, no shade on Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie, right?
Yeah, great games.
So for us, I mean, I don't want to go too kind of into the design philosophy of it, but to kind of touch upon it very, very briefly, we have like a hub and spoke system. So within the narrative, bringing everything together, Thoringar is obviously under attack, Umbral is there, everything's essentially kicking off. We've been able to really kind of not only narratively justify, but also visually justify these transitions. So when you get into the game, you will have hints of these biomes, and it will feel very natural going from one to the other. So some will be quite stark in differentiation, like really stark, but that journey to get there,
I should play it again.
gradual. You'll feel like you're stepping into it. We will tease you with some of the themes there, some of the iconography, symbology, all of this sort of stuff. So it will never feel like when you go into one of these new biomes that you're kind of took back for the wrong reasons, like, what the hell, why am I here, sort of thing. It'll be like, this is where this was leading to. It makes sense why sand has started to gather in these spaces as I'm getting closer over a good 20 minutes, 30 minutes of gameplay and storytelling that's gone into that, and from the environment team. So it will never be that jarring, and with that we can just focus on that big reveal of that space, which we've got some pretty cool vistas to kind of introduce some of these wild zones that the player's gonna die in quite a lot.
And we love our exclusives here on Lifting the Veil.
Do we?
If Marek doesn't beat us to them first on X. So something I've seen, because of how different the biomes look that we've already shown, some people have asked, is it going to be like Demon Souls, where you go through a portal for each one. So I think we can confirm that that's not the case, that they are fully interconnected, and maybe you can talk on that a bit, James.
Yeah, so it goes back to that hub and spoke. I love the way Demon Souls does it. I have my opinions on how to do that, but for us, I think it's very important that we don't give the player like these false walls and false doors. So we want players to really feel the journey there, and that's what I think was missing for me in Demon Souls, where it's like I go to a portal now, I've unlocked the mining zone or I've unlocked the fire zone. No, we want players to feel those footsteps. So when they have finished one biome level and gone through all the toil that's required to get through that experience, you won't have to track back, but when you go back to, kind of revel in the spoils of that experience, it's now starting the journey to the next place and feeling, that progression for the player, that forward momentum going into those spaces gives us time to really then start to get the biome themes really in the head of the player. And it's not just even to the biome themes, we will hint at enemies that, shouldn't be there, or, invading forces, things like this, to really push it one step further so that the player can feel that, this world is reacting to what I'm doing. So there's a lot to go into there. I don't want to go too far because it's going to ruin some biomes. I don't want to do that, so I don't want to get in trouble. But it's feeling that journey. That's what we really want players to have.
Okay. Javi, as head of art, have you got a favourite location?
Yeah, I do.
I thought you were just going to
leave
it at that.
I was explaining about names and places. Yeah, I think we showcase us in some of the trailers. There's this place that we call internally Moon Knight.
Yeah.
There's places, and it's in the coast. It's full of islands, castles on top of those islands. It's kind of the waves and stormy weather. That's my favorite place right now. And it's the good thing is one of the first places that you will visit in the game. So
so it's all downhill from there.
Yeah. Downhill. Downhill is easier. That's it. No. I think it's my favorite place, but for the reason that it's one of the first that we started working in, and we brought our hearts on that place, and it's the place that we want to create the best impression on the players as possible. So it doesn't mean that it will go downhill on that.
And I know for a fact it doesn't.
Really nice surprises for you guys and on the rest of them. The good thing is that all the experience is seamless. Then you can go back using portals and stuff, or easy of gameplay for the sake of fast movement and stuff. But the first time that you experience each place, you will get the full experience of smooth transitions, really nice hints of where are you getting in, through the sound, through the visuals. I'm just getting into a new place. I can feel it. I can start seeing it different. Okay, this is different. Also, because if you use everything you have at the very beginning, then what do you have for later? You need to distribute it properly in the game so that you get the right amount of surprises for the whole experience of the game.
Okay. And talking about surprise locations, this one took me by surprise as a player. So this is one of my favourite shots in the trailer.
That looks beautiful.
Such an evocative
that
environment.
Looks beautiful.
I just love it. And what I wanted to discuss is the meteorite soaring in the background. So I know that we have these new dynamic environmental moments in this game. So I thought you could talk about that for a bit, James.
Yeah, sure. So something that I love when it's done really well is moments that make you go, fuck. What? Like that.
Like stop for a moment.
Okay.
Rotate the camera.
And this goes to, and I think for this environment in particular, meteors raining from the sky. This is what we've shown so far. Like, you haven't seen before that, like what's happening before. But it's this kind of moment where you stop and breathe in and like go, oh, okay, this is happening. And there's many things in throughout the game where players will stop and go, oof, I didn't expect that. For me,
can you tease one?
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, where do meteorites land? Like, they need to hit something, right? So as you'll be walking down a corridor or walking down a space, and a meteorite will smash in and just take a building completely out, it will draw like, okay, this is really happening to the world. What we're seeing isn't just like kind of fakey stuff in the background. It's like it's actually going to have an impact. And for me, is it like the designer in me? I really want you to look at them so I can then get an enemy to then mug you off as you're like focusing on the wrong thing. So to me, it gives this kind of grounded experience and it's really. It's not even just a ground experience. It's like pushing to this immersion level, right? It's like, oh my God, a building's just fallen in front of me. That's where my eyes are going to be. It's not going to be on the guy that's probably sneaking around to try and stab me in the back and send me to Umbral again. So it's those moments that I really, really like. And that's just in this zone. There's so many more where we don't just have these like big events, but also tease what's happening in the world, how the world's progressing, what Umbral's doing. So there's so many elements that the players I just really want players just to stop, take it in, and then really understand, okay, the world's really alive here.
And in fact, we have almost what we call Project Living World.
Project Living World.
Internally as well. I mean, that's just how important that sense of the world feeling alive is to us. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to go down too much of a rabbit hole here, but, Souls-likes do tend to be quite quiet places. And that works. Like, there's so many cool elements that come from that. That's not us, though. It's a bit more for us. We want to be a bit louder here. So having those like moments where, again, it's not just bringing up world immersion, but really just giving more credibility to the space. That's really pushing us into new directions, which I'm really enjoying to see.
We reveal 3 of our NPCs. I want to take a moment to discuss how these characters are playing a bigger part in the world and its story this time around compared to the predecessor.
So the 3 NPCs that we see are Thaddeus, who's been teased before, Emeris, who has been seen before, and a new one is Nyoka, who is a part of a faction that you'll come to learn when you get into the game. So what's important about these NPCs is they make up a larger group that you'll be meeting that are essentially they're the last bastion of Axiom at this point. And so they will be supporting the player in terms of driving them into the world on their main mission, but also sending them on places to explore things, their own personal fights, their own goals, to bring really kind of this player as the true hero of the story, the real lamp bearer. So for what was really important to us is stakes within the world, right? The player has a main mission, but other people have other drivers, right? And the player will then support them, and those NPCs, will really start to kind of shape how the player views this journey and the decisions that they make. There's also many other elements, that are more, say, traditional, like all of those NPCs. They have their experiences in the world, so they can, share information, also trade with you. You can get specialist stuff from them if you do certain things. So it's a lot more embedded for us at this point. And that was taking feedback from 2023. We really wanted that to feel meaningful to the player, to push them into the world and,
Damn, 2023, that's when it came out.
Following the trail from another NPC.
Yeah, and I think one of the ways the game builds on the prequel
3 years, and they're
ready
to release
feel grounded and to feel
when is the new one coming out?
They talk like human beings, basically. They talk like how a human being would talk in this situation. It's the end of the world, the end of the world as they know it. There won't be a world tomorrow if they fail. And how would someone speak faced with those sort of odds? It's certainly not going to be reciting poetry. It sort of leans into that whole bolder, braver, bloodier thing, but also that like gritty groundedness that we wanted to achieve with this game as well.
With an element of directness, right? Yeah. Because I love interesting scriptures as much as the next person, or a bit of flourished speech, but sometimes I just need to know what's going on. And okay, this is a problem, I can solve this because they've told me that this is a problem. It's not hidden behind lots of walls and things like that. So also super important for us. We want players to really know where they are and what the main mission is and what those NPCs and what their stake is in that mission.
So, from NPC to boss, I wanted to...
It says fall 2026.
Move on to the Scion. So, we revealed her originally in the announcement trailer last year. Very quickly became a fan favorite. No idea why. Yeah, I mean, she was a nightmare to animate just for a CGI trailer alone. So I dread to think the problems she's caused internally for you guys.
Pain in the arse. Pain in the arse.
Yes, how are we tackling that? And I guess that comes down to you and your team as well having that.
Well, actually, this is technical animation team, is Ludovic's team, and also animation. There's such a special character to animate that you can fit. Yeah, she has wings. Yeah, we can call that wings. They are not wings. They are 1,000 hands.
Have you counted how many there are?
Fingers.
Do you know how many there are?
I say 1,000. Probably will miss the shot, but yeah. Basically, is while you need to still perceive it as wings, so she can fly, but.
Worth saying that wings aren't exactly easy.
No, definitely not.
No, of course not. And thing you need to find a system that animates it. Let's say not automatically because it's not that thing, but that you don't need to do frame by frame for each of the things. You need a system that goes and has a preset movements based on the direction and some physics applies on it. And I said, it was a nightmare.
It was a nightmare.
Also, just to jump in there with that though, like with how complex it is to make that look good, like that's one step, but also I think we can say you're going to be having a fight with her.
That's the thing.
And you've got to make that readable and understandable at the same time.
Exactly. So what's the important thing here? Are the wings or the 2 kilometers long sword that she is bearing? So that's fine. So
the Scion for me is every hard thing you need to do for a boss in a Souls-like. We've managed to get it into one enemy, but I'm proud of where it is. Like, it's super fun to play. It's one of my favorite fights in the game. But yeah, we will never be doing. I will say this: never be doing hands like this again. But it'll be really cool for this. Super
for
excited.
years. Yeah, that's true.
Has Marek not told you about the Scion spin-off?
Yeah, let's not do this. Give me a panic attack.
The animated movie.
I want to close today's episode
The
with this
science
shot,
spin-off.
as there's a lot to discuss here. We can, as another Lifting the Veil exclusive, confirm a few things
Decapitation?
that this hints at. One of which is a new Japanese-inspired biome, Yusugun. If you can give some color there, please, James.
Yeah, so Yusugun is one of the, as you said, one of the new factions that we have within the game, and also you are going to explore what's called New Yusugun in the world itself.
The dragon.
So this is a place that's been ravaged by war, disease, corruption, and you will be going there to essentially complete part of your main quest mission. This is one of my favourite biomes. It's been hard not to talk about in this one because it's been an absolute kind of pleasure to kind of bring some of these themes out.
And are you into Japanese culture?
Tiny bit.
Yeah.
Tiniest bit.
Just a little.
New bit of
Just a
ink on
little.
that
It's
guy.
a new bit of ink.
Inspire.
Yeah, it's also inspired. It's also a Souls-like reference. If anyone's super into stuff.
Yeah, but with the sword in the mouth. Eh?
Yeah. So for me, Yusugun really kind of pushes us into this kind of new territory, and something that I won't go into too much because I really want players to really experience this, but it's this kind of like the Lords of the Fallen spin on this type of place, and this kind of dark fantasy spin on top. So yeah, it's a wild place. It's nasty. It's got a lot of stuff going on. There's some interesting corruption that's doing some wild things to people there. It's going to be really, really fun to see. Not only players just getting to explore this like new world in Lords of the Fallen, but also see what the enemies can do, because they have some tricks.
Because the place is inspired in Japan, but it's not what you actually imagine as Japan.
Oh, is that not what Japan looks like?
No, I mean, probably not. Yeah,
I'm not being personally.
I haven't been there also, so. But it's not what you imagine if you think about Japan. You can particularly picture some mountain, lush forests and things. I can say that this is not that.
So the other thing that this sequence confirms is a new weapon class. So going back to our players first philosophy, we did ask the community very early last year what new weapon classes they'd like to see in Lords of the Fallen 2. So number one was Scythe. And we've already confirmed that. I believe it's your favorite new class in the game. Yeah. But yeah, coming in at a very close second was Katana. And I for one am very happy about this newcomer. I'm a Katana player myself. So why do you think Katanas are so popular among the Souls-like audience? And what can players expect differently with our version of that class?
Yeah, so for me, I think the Katana in both Elden Ring and Demon Souls actually were my mains. They are just a fun class to play with. They usually have some insane stats that you can just start to wade through enemies really quickly, but also it just feels quite cool. You can then start to like develop into like that style of character. So for me, that class always, as a Souls-like player, kind of drove me into a certain player behavior. And yeah, it just looks pretty badass at the same time. I think for us, what I'm really excited by is that, yeah, okay, we have a Katana, but it's a Lords of the Fallen Katana. So we've seen how the Scythe is a bit wild. We need to bring that heat to that class. Nothing, goes with a second measure. So it's going to be a really interesting kind of Lords of the Fallen spin on what we think Katana combat would be within this world. And it is savage. Absolutely savage, but also very graceful at the same time. So yeah, another shout out to Animation there. They've made that just such a fun class to play, and even introduce some challenge within that class as well. So yeah, it's going to be a really, really fun kind of compendium to all the other weapon sets and things.
Okay, almost done with this one.
So that brings us on to Under the Lamplight. So this is our monthly section dedicated to your guys' questions.
Okay.
Going to kick off with a question from Rare Disease asking, when can I wishlist on Steam? As of right now. The Steam page is live. Hit that wishlist button. Next question comes from Bratta, and their question is, was replayability one of the things the teams focused on with Lords of the Fallen 2?
Yes. So we had elements of this obviously in 2023, but with the new title, we're really looking at what makes that moment-to-moment replayability. So for us, our biggest lever here is Umbral. There's a lot of mechanics we've not shown off yet that will basically change things change your moment-to-moment as you're playing through. So you can go through one section of the Umbral realm, have one experience. If you die, go back and then play that same zone again in Umbral. That could be altered. So it gives it this sense of like, oh, okay, things are changing. This also goes to the wider game as well, right? So that's like moment-to-moment replayability into more kind of holistic replayability. We're giving more like when you finish the game, you will have certain things that you can do. You'll have certain choices that you'll have made throughout the experience, and that will maybe give you some questions to go back and try again. So we have a few levers there to really push players to want to go in and really go through the tours and trials of Axiom and Umbral.
I think also worth mentioning the weapon classes, and as you were alluding to with the Katana, just how different one feels from another in this game.
Completely. They will provide you not only with obviously a different weapon class in the base foundation meaning of it, but also different styles of play. So not every weapon class is the same, right? So if I'm wielding a sword and a shield, it's very different to how I would wield an ultra great sword and things like that. But that will then promote different types of tactics, different ways to move, different ways to engage with enemies, break them, do all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that alone, if one player wants to go through and do all weapon classes, go for it. You'll have a different experience each time.
And not only do the weapon classes feel different from one to another, but then also one hand to two hand to dual wielding all feels wildly different as well. And we haven't even mentioned magic and ranged either.
Yeah, the well is deep.
Yeah.
Very deep.
And just on replayability as well, we can confirm that this one will have multiple endings, and that the endings are a lot more meaningful this time around as well. It won't just be words on a black screen.
Nice.
So, next
Nice.
question comes from Shadowheart. How much of a difference will Lords of the Fallen 2 be at launch compared to Lords of the Fallen in terms of polish?
So, as we know from 2023, the launch date was not up to what players expected, and that was incredibly important to us to not only make that right, but to also embed it into our processes. So things like performance optimization are constant conversations, constant things that we run and test, and we're really making massive leaps and bounds there to push that into where it needs to be on day one. But for us, where the magic comes from a game like this is that polishing state. So when we, our features are locked in, they're feeling good, where the fun is proven, we're happy with where everything is, then it's just going and putting those bells and whistles on, like meteorites falling from the sky. That's polished to us, where we're just adding this just cooler elements where people can go that one step further, and that's our biggest phase right now, is pushing the game to that level that we when we imagined it on that concept, what it will really be.
Yeah, Javi, it's funny, in the show and tell, I always assume, right, that level must be finished by now. And then you come with a new update, and it was Moon Knights a few weeks ago, and I think it was like you guys had added just more rubble, more barnacles.
It will always look different in 2 weeks ahead. Yeah, that's part of the polishing phase. Is the difficult part here is kind of is projecting. Okay, how will this look in the future, and you have a clear path to there. And it's true that the real magic on game development, we can say this, it happens at the last minute, we could say. So by minute, I mean months, but minute in the timeline of a game production thing is on the last months, you could see the game improving like 25%. On the last weeks and days, because you are adding these little touches. It's like when you cook a cake, it just put the cherry on top, but that cherry means
Yes.
Yeah.
all those details add a lot. It's happened the same with sound and audio. It's just doing the last touches of it. It's like remixing a nice song. The good production on the studio, just right balance, and here creates a huge difference.
Yeah,
Cake analogy.
Yeah. We need to catch up with these guys because they keep, polishing and adding, cool stuff. And then, it's so inspiring for us. And it's a great opportunity to contribute and enhance those, elements, moments, whatever.
Yeah, such as the animated umbral elements.
I hope they really enhancing or polishing the game really well for
next question
handheld
comes from
games.
Spawn Yard.
For like the
How do you
Xbox
think
Ix
Lords
or
of
the
Fallen
Legion
2
Go
will stand
2,
out from the rest
stuff
of
like that.
the
It's coming out to the
genre?
Switch too. So it
We've
so I
mentioned it once
assume that it's going to be
before,
well
but
polished.
it's always what we resort back to. It's like one of our project pillars, right? Is this kind of aggression, fast-paced combat, and being bolder, braver, bloodier, brutal, all of the Bs. And that's where I think we've really found our magic. Like, it is an extremely aggressive game to play, more so than any other Souls-like experience I've played. And that's where I think we're really making a lane for ourselves here. I think you get that and then start to couple it with our themes, our world. It starts to really be something quite different.
Yeah, and we haven't even revealed some of the coolest new abilities arriving with this game.
Yeah. And we're not going to here.
No,
No. But
Okay.
I think. Sorry, just to complete. I think it's really finding this path now for us, as as a franchise, as a studio, and Lords of the Fallen 2 is our line in the sand of where we stand, and we will show off some super cool stuff.
Yeah, I think if you think like Souls-like and Lords of the Fallen, there was that deviation, but as those paths continue, that deviation is becoming wider and wider.
Yeah,
and I do
agree.
think this game, really sets itself apart from the rest of the genre.
Yeah,
It feels different to play, even though it does feel quintessentially a Souls-like. It does have, very much its own signature style when playing it.
Yeah, when I go back to play other Souls-likes, it doesn't feel natural. I have to learn that Souls-like again, even if I've played it many, many times before, because that's what playing Lords of the Fallen has done to me, in a good way. But it's like I have to then kind of relearn a game that I've spent 1,000 hours in. that's usually a good sign that I'm starting to really get into something.
Final question comes from Lonely Lunatic. They ask, would it be better to play all of the games in a row to get the full story, or can they start with the 2023 release?
I think yes and no. I think players can jump straight into Lords of the Fallen 2. You know, we will look back on some of the events within the game, but it is a fresh story. It is a continuation, but it is a fresh adventure. But yeah, I'm never going to say no to purists that want to go back to 2014 and 2023 and like really start to put all of the elements of Axiom and Umbral together. Go for it, but yeah, you don't need to be like Final Fantasy or like a bigger franchise sort of path. That's not required.
So that brings us to the end of today's episode. As always, drop any new questions in
I'm
the
gonna give
comments
them a
below.
like. That was a pretty good video.
Join us again next month when Guido will have a lot more to say, as we will be discussing sound, audio, and music. See.
All right, let's hit this trailer here for the Umbral review. Man, cannot wait to play this game. Now you went to the Umbral. Oof. Yo, that was good. That was good. All right. So now let's go ahead and watch the Unreal. State of Unreal. This is the Epic Studio event for the Unreal Engine.
Hi everyone, welcome to Unreal Fest. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Thank you so much for joining us here in Chicago, and thanks to everyone watching on the live stream. Once again, we're joined by luminaries from AAA game studios, indie teams, Fortnite creators, and filmmakers who are all shaping the future of entertainment. And we've got innovators from robotics,
Expedition 33 up
architecture,
there.
automotive, and so many more industries who are taking the power of Unreal to new frontiers. There are over 100 sessions and hands-on labs to choose from. So if you don't have the event app yet, take a quick snap of this QR code, download it, and build your plan for the next 2 days.
Yep.
Be sure to check out all the demos and games on the expo floor. Swing by the Learning Theater along with the Dev Lounge, where you can get some technical help from our team. So we're here to celebrate your success and give you a glimpse of where we're headed in the future. We have a lot of great stuff to show, but just a heads up, we're not doing a live tech demo on stage this year. The team's been really hard at work making an awesome new engine release and building the foundation of Unreal Engine 6, which you'll hear more about later.
Okay.
Before we get into what's new, we want to give a shout out to a few groundbreaking projects. Last year, just before Unreal Fest, Sandfall Interactive.
This is what I want to say. You're talking about Unreal Engine 6. You should not be doing anything for Unreal Engine 6 right now. The reason why I'm saying that, because it usually takes several years, but if they advance enough, I guess, whatever.
Obscure Expedition 33, which, give it up, which became the breakout hit of 2025.
Yep.
And now, a year later, the game has received over 500 awards, the most awarded game in history.
It should.
Congratulations to the
It's an
team for all of your
amazing game.
achievements, and we can't wait to see what's next. Arc Raiders is another huge success story. From October to February, the
I
Extraction
haven't played
shooter sold more than 14 million copies. Embark built the game's massive open world, leveraging UE5 and Epic Online Services voice chat capabilities to give millions of players an awesome social experience at a peak scale of 960,000 concurrent users. K-pop Demon Hunters was the most watched movie in Netflix history,
That was Unreal?
winning 2 Academy Awards.
That was an
A
Unreal?
landmark moment for the animation industry.
I didn't know.
Sony Pictures Animation and ImageWorks transformed their pipeline by moving to real-time previs and layout, using Unreal Engine to cut production time by an estimated 25%. That's months of work saved. And because the team used real-time ready assets in production, we were able to pull off a Fortnite collab in record time. This was a full ecosystem moment that kicked off with a Demon Rush limited time mode, and it continued across Blitz, Reload, and Zero Build, with cosmetics in the item shop. We did all of this and launched UEFN developer tools in 2 months. Unreal continues to gain momentum beyond entertainment. SAS is an enterprise leader in enterprise analytics, AI, and data management. They're developing
AI.
incredibly complex Unreal Engine digital twin simulations across industrial manufacturing, worker safety, life sciences, and other industries. Now, these digital twins help businesses make operational decisions in simulation before a single machine moves, a single worker is put at risk, or a single dollar is spent on the wrong configuration. All of this, games, animation, and enterprise solutions built on Unreal Engine 5. Now, we revealed UE5 6 years ago. Since then, release by release, we've shipped many features required to deliver stunning, high-fidelity open worlds running at 60 frames per second. We've also been working to unlock real workflow improvements so you can
I
create
remember
faster
that.
and
That
more
was
efficient.
amazing.
Nanite minimized manual LOD pipelines. Lumen nearly eliminated light baking. MetaHuman reduced the time to make great-looking characters from months to days to even minutes. Sequencer and Control Rig made it possible to animate really complex character performances in Engine without leaving the editor. World Partition made streaming massive open worlds possible without leaning on critical engineering resources. It's hard to believe it's been 6 years since the launch of UE5, but it's inspiring.
6 years
what we've
already?
done.
For real.
To share what's in our latest release, please welcome mon ami, Simon Tourangeau.
Thanks, Bill. Good morning. It's great to be back to share the latest on Unreal Engine. Over the last few releases, the feedback we've heard most from studios is make it fast, make it stable. So we've been focused on exactly that, performance. Take 5.7. We improved performance by up to 25% on the GPU and up to 35% on the CPU, giving you smoother frame rates.
Okay.
Today, we're releasing Unreal Engine 5.8, which is all about building on that momentum to give you more headroom, fewer hitches, and less friction between an idea and what you can actually ship. A big part of 5.8 is maturity. Systems that were experimental or beta in previous releases are now crossing the line into production readiness. The headliner is megalights.
No.
Thousands of dynamic shadow casting lights and area lights in a scene at a fixed cost. What used to be a performance lift becomes a creative tool. Artists can light with fewer
Okay.
compromises, and teams can spend less time budgeting every dynamic light. Around it, LiveLink Hub, Movie Render
stupid.
Graph, Chaos Cloud authoring through Dataflow,
Okay.
Audio Insights, and Iris are production ready too. We also made it simpler to scale to the different platforms. Lumen, our dynamic global illumination system, now has a lightweight mode called Lumen Light, designed to
Okay.
preserve much of the visual impact at a significantly lower GPU cost. That makes Lumen viable where it wasn't before, including on Switch 2. And that work is already helping drive further nanite optimization efforts for the platform. Now, let's talk about something every developer in this room has felt.
What? Compiling
the
shader.
frame spike, the long shader compile. The moment your game pauses and you wonder where all that time went. A huge part of that problem is shaders. So we've sharpened the compiler and improved deduplication to strip out redundant work. Less to compile, less to load, less getting in your way. In Fortnite, that work combined with content changes contributed to a 68% reduction in shader count. Faster cooks, faster loads, lighter memory. Jason and John's talk tomorrow goes deep on how they got there. But shaders are only half the story. The other half is pipeline state objects, or PSOs.
Okay.
A PSO is the bundle the GPU needs to draw an effect. Shaders, blend modes, render state, all of it. Miss one at runtime, and the driver has to assemble and compile it on the spot. That's your hitch. And those are the bugs that are notoriously hard to hunt. Luckily, we have just the guy to do it. So in 5.8, we've improved PSO pre-caching. Fallback rendering is far less visible while PSOs are still compiling. And the whole system is easier to tune, debug, and profile. These are not flashy changes, but if you've been chasing itches, you'll feel the difference the first time you boot. And we're not done. We're working with Microsoft and hardware partners on advanced shader delivery, a DirectX 12 initiative that allows us to ship pre-compiled shaders to players, moving more shader work out of the player's runtime experience. The rollout is ramping, and we'll let you know more about this soon. Now, here's a brand new experimental feature we're shipping in 5.8.
Okay.
Mesh terrain. We wanted to move beyond the limits of height map-based landscapes where every point can only move in one direction, and the fixed grid means you can't adjust the resolution to add detail or optimize areas. Mesh terrain is a new way to alter complex terrain without being locked to a height field. And it's more than just a mesh. It's partitioned for collaborative workflows, supports world partition streaming, and is designed to scale across platforms using the same source assets while tuning the runtime representation for each platform using Nanite
cool.
when
It's
available.
using the same fucking tool.
With Mesh terrain, you have
What I mean,
full
the same
3D
mesh.
manipulation capabilities. Overhangs, tunnels, floating islands, shapes you simply couldn't build before. And because it's mesh-based, you can also control tessellation at the triangle level. That means adding detail exactly where it matters while saving memory and performance where it doesn't. As you'd expect, you can paint material layers, but also additional attributes, and it supports virtual texture with automatic UV generation. Mesh terrain uses non-destructive modifiers and procedural tooling, so iteration becomes dramatically easier. Everything can be layered, reordered, combined, and adjusted at any point in time. So you can literally move mountains. It also works natively with PCG and comes with an expanded modeling toolset.
That looks cool.
But best of all, in our ongoing Fortnite optimization efforts, Mesh terrain has a smaller memory footprint and runs faster than landscape. Higher quality, lighter costs, more creative and technical freedom. That's Mesh terrain. Another big focus of 5.8 is helping you go faster from idea to result. Performance capture has matured to scale from one operator at a desk to a full mocap stage with control over every recording device on set, including video. And we're taking that further. Earlier this year, Meshcapade joined Epic, bringing world-leading technology for markerless motion capture from video. We've already started integrating it into the ecosystem, and today we are releasing the MetaHuman Animator markerless motion capture plugin on Fab. You can drive a character's body, face, and hands from regular video. No suits, no markers, video in, animation out. For animators pursuing feature quality work, this is our most significant animation release yet. We've made high-end animation workflows more interactive, more intuitive, and more connected to the creative process. From sculpting directly on stylized rigs, to controls that live on the character itself, to a simplified timeline that keeps you focused on the performance. These are the same tools our animation team uses every day, and now they're available to everyone, and we're releasing the sample with 5.8. On the cinematic side, offline depth of field gets a major upgrade. We now render the blur the way a real camera makes it, by sampling the scene from multiple points across the lens. So you get physically accurate defocus, even on translucency and thin geometry. For productions working with ultra-high resolution media, the new tiled MIPMAP video format gives you compressed video that holds up at scale. It only decodes the tiles and MIP level your viewport actually needs,
Damn,
so
look
you
at
don't
that.
pay to process pixels no one is looking at. So that's the flyby. If any of this caught your ear, you can find deep dive sessions in the Unreal Fest app. And if 5.8 is about reducing friction across the engine, there's one more place we're starting to do that, how people interact with the editor itself. But to tell you more, here's Michael. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Now, at times, making games can be hard, expensive, and slow, where the gap between what you can imagine and what you can make is held back by technical overhead. I don't know about you, but spending hours in a node graph trying to untangle and understand what's going on just to change one thing is not my idea of creativity.
Okay.
There has to be a better way to do this. So that's what we've been working on. Tools that enable you to build faster and iterate more.
I hate the damn grid.
Now, Unreal has been built on a simple idea.
I'm telling you because I work on Unreal.
Pipeline, your workflow. Give developers complete control over the tools and get out of the way. That philosophy hasn't changed. We're just applying it to large language models. Now, in 5.8, we've implemented an MCP server that acts as a bridge between Unreal and any model that you want. For this presentation, we're going to be using Claude Code, but you can use Gemini, your own custom model, whatever you want. Enabling the Unreal MCP is as simple as turning on the plugin, doing a bit of config, and connecting to the model of your choice. And everything you're about to see today runs on that setup. Now, these are still early days, and models will still do some really unpredictable things. However, with this approach, we maintain the ability to go in and edit as you would any Unreal scene. OK, let's see this in action. On the left, we have Unreal Engine. On the right is a terminal running Claude Code. You can see every message going back and forth. Claude Code is talking to Unreal through the MCP server, reading the scene, and taking actions directly inside the engine.
Okay.
So let's start with something small, a modern living room. We start by giving the model some context, what we want to build, and whereabouts in the level. And to make sure everyone can follow along, we're showing a summarized version of each prompt as we go. But if you want the full details, you can still see that in the terminal window. We're going to speed things up from here for presentation purposes, but everything you're seeing is real work happening inside the engine. So we can ask for the basics, a sofa, a rug, and a coffee table. Then fill it in with chairs, a lamp, and a side table. Semantic search, which is part of the 5.8 release, pulls assets from your library that fit that description. And because this is Unreal, we can also manually add a chair, describe it as a reading nook, and the model will furnish the room accordingly. Every step here is a creative decision that you're making. Models are good at broad iterations. You're good at knowing exactly what you want. Those same principles work whether you're furnishing a room or whether you want to scale up and build an entire city. So let's take that same approach and build a city.
Okay.
You start by drawing the boundary. From there, you can decide where the districts go and what characteristics each one has. Highways cut through on your direction. And from those, the road network starts to fill in. Buildings come up. The model here is using semantic search to find the right assets from your library and place them in the level. Ask for a forest around the edge, and it can fill that in. At every step, you're making the calls. And what do you end up with? It's not a rendered image. It's real geometry, real procedural content generation graphs that you can open, edit, and modify. And this works for a whole team, too. Other developers can work on their own sessions, building assets and dropping them straight into the city. The road network adjusts, the blocks update,
That's fucking
and
cool.
the city absorbs it. Different people, different sessions, and it all works together. So how does all of this actually work? With the MCP server as the bridge between Unreal and your model, it gives your model the ability to read your scene, understand your assets, and make changes directly in the engine. And because it's open, you're not locked into any particular model or workflow. Now, while large language models are great at language and reasoning, they don't naturally think spatially. Unreal does. To help connect the two, we're giving you over 80 foundational procedural content generation building blocks, a library of examples, and skills that encode specific Unreal workflows.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
this is experimental, and it's going to keep getting better. This is where you come in. Tell us what's working. Tell us what's not. That's how we're going to make this better. Now that the city is built, we want to light it. Getting lighting right on Unreal is a skill that means touching dozens of parameters that all need to work together. Light balance, cloud materials, sky atmosphere, post-process. That's a lot to know. But by creating a dedicated lighting skill, you just describe what you want, and the model orchestrates that all for you. Ask for a purple dusk. And there it is. Under the hood, it's adjusting all those settings in concert. Then we can ask for overcast skies. And this is a good example of where the model gets things wrong. It misread the sky and tweaked the cloud material the wrong way. But you can see exactly what happened, correct it in the next prompt, and you're right back to where you want to be. Because models also have real-world knowledge, you can just say, Bogota at 9:30 in the morning. And it will go and figure out the sun position, direction, temperature, and atmosphere that actually matches that. And if you want to match something specific, you can take an image. So here we used one of Vancouver, and ask it to replicate that look. It uses screenshots to assess and iterate until it gets there. And everything is still editable. Grab a road and move it, the city adjusts around it. Ask it to make a building taller or more prominent in the scene, and it does that. But then you can go in and modify any individual asset, making it exactly the way that you want it. This isn't a generated image that you're stuck with. It's a real scene in Unreal, and you control every part of it. Now, let's look at one intersection. We wanted to add a hazard zone, flashing lamps, steam, and a sense of danger as the player gets close. That normally means days of back and forth across multiple disciplines. So here's what we did instead. The warning lamp already has a material, but let's say you want to add something to it. You ask the model to read the existing graph, build the new logic, and insert it right where it needs to go. You can then jump into the material instance editor and tweak the final values by hand. Then
This
you
is
take a Niagara
crazy.
template and extend it,
This is pretty cool.
adding a single parameter that drives multiple emitters at once, giving you control over the whole effect in one place. You build out the HUD through prompting and UMG, status display, danger meter, warning
Danger,
states.
danger, danger.
Then blueprint logic ties it all together. A proximity trigger connected to the material, the Niagara system, and the HUD. Walk in, and everything fires at once. All right, so let's run it. Lamps are off, it's quiet.
With the
She walks
Mexus
toward the
character.
site, the lamps come on, the steam starts rising. She steps inside, lamps are flashing, steam's pouring in, and the site is erupting. What we've shown here today would take months to build by hand. But with the MCP server and Unreal, our artists were able to make all of this in days. When you lower the technical friction, you can iterate more and make better games. That's what we've built. This is really just a starting point. Bring your own primitives, your own examples, your own skills built around your pipelines. The more your team puts in over time, the more useful it gets for everyone on the project. We're shipping the MCP server, the PCG primitive plugin, and the skills we've developed as part of 5.8 today. It's open, and it's yours to extend. Go download it, point your model at it, and see what you can do.
I might do
If you
that.
want to go deeper, we've got 2 chances to catch our tech talk here at Fest. Come find us. Now I'm going to hand it over to Pat to talk about how some of what I've shown you impacts linear content creation in the engine.
We've only been at 22 minutes in.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, everyone. My name is Pat Tubach. I've got a background in film and television. For media and entertainment, the MCP plugin that Michael just showed you opens up a wide range of new connections to LLMs, but also to image and video models like Nano Banana, GPT Image, Grok Imagine, Luma, Seedance, and many more. Michael was telling you about tools in the present, and I'm going to cover tools for creating linear content that are releasing early next year that give you control over these models. The standard approach to using an image model is to start by crafting a text prompt. In this case, I wrote a novel describing a fictional scene in Epic Motors, a 1950s gas station. But in professional situations where you have to hit story points, match exact continuity, and deliver what your creative director wants, you would typically communicate visually through sketches and pre-rivs. Unreal is great for that. So, to get started in Unreal, I scouted the derelict corridor scene from Quixel that's available on Fab, which I quickly customized to look like the gas station layout I needed. I worked in detail lighting mode, since I was just using this for blocking to this stage. I dropped in some of the appropriate assets from that map: shelving, a propane tank, a cabinet, and also made proxy shapes for the assets that I didn't have: a long counter, more shelving, a cash register, and an ice chest. Then I backed up and framed my camera view and animated a boom down and a push in that I'd later use for my shot. But before I tackled the full video creation, I had to create a single style frame, the visual reference of my scene. To do that, I used the model to combine a depth pass plus the prompt novel I'd written before.
Okay.
The depth conditions the models to understand the layout and the framing. Here's how that works using our new tools in Unreal. I asked Claude Code, connected by our MCP plugin, to use Unreal's movie render graph to create a 4K image, plus all the rest. Asking for an Unreal render to create the image was a signal to Claude Code that I wanted to give my model my depth pass, but use the creative look described in my prompt. I then fired off that request. And while it was being generated, I inspected the graph that it made for the task. Image models are hungry for helpful data and conditioning, and so I prepared a process that pulls valuable visual data from the Unreal scene and passes it to the image model. In this case, Google's Nano Banana Pro. Now, let's take a look at this image more closely. You can see that it did a great job matching the visual detail I asked for, but most importantly, it didn't place things randomly. It matched the composition of my Unreal viewport exactly. From there, I could start to iterate. For example, I wanted another tire on the floor, but I didn't have that particular asset because it was an image model creation. Using the new image segmentation tools in the editor to mask the tire, I selected both the mask and the image, and with a predefined workflow, asked Claude Code to extract it, repair it, and mesh it using Trippo 3.1. And then I double-checked that graph, and I supervised the work. Now, of course, this is not a real-time process, so after several minutes, I got my textured tire mesh. I saved it to the content browser, where I then pulled in the tire and positioned it in 3D space. And finally, I asked Claude Code to add the tire to the image. Let's take a look at that result.
Ooh.
So if we compare my UE passes with the tire in it, you can see that it put the new tire where I asked it to, and it made it look like a variation of the generated tire, not an exact duplicate. All right, now let's add something totally new to the scene by going back to the viewport for another round in 3D. I went browsing on Fab and found one of our junkyard car parts for Megascans. I picked the specific fender piece that I wanted that had a 1950s look modeled into it to leave less to the image model's imagination. I asked Claude Code to add it to my image and make it look like it had been newly repainted. And after another image processing step in Nana Banana, that was done.
Nana banana.
Okay, now that I produced my style frame, I was ready to go back to our new Unreal tools to generate a video of our scene. And here's my shot camera move again. If you recall, this is the move that I created at the beginning. Over on the right, I ran a sequence render node that represents the depth over the entire range. I'm going to use the same depth restyling process with the video that I did on the still image. I supply the style frame I just generated to the video model as a first frame reference, and you can see that I added a cat, just hoping for a bit of life. And then I set my video generation node to use Seedance 2.0, set the resolution, added audio, and then I was off. Once that process had run for several minutes, I had a video that looked like this.
Okay.
So clearly, this is showing you that I can control the camera, but nobody controls a cat. All right, let's leave the garage and the cat and move on to an apartment. This is a different workflow that we've been building in parallel for more rapid concepting with diffusion and your viewports side by side. What you're seeing here in this video is the UE viewport on the left that was streaming to a local Flux Klein image model on the right. The local model result isn't temporally coherent. It was stamping a new image on every frame and only running a few frames a second, which is why it seems slower over there on the right. But let me show you how intuitive it is to use. I prompted for sunset lighting at first, and then decided to see what it would look like if there had just been a fire in this apartment. And then I tried something more extreme, like being underwater at the bottom of a murky pond.
Oof.
The real benefit you get here is being able to go back to the UE viewport, interact with the assets, and see them repositioned through this new diffusion lens. Not only that, but you can try more illustrated looks, like a charcoal drawing or even a watercolor painting.
Yo, this is so fucking cool.
As models
Unreal
get more
Engine
capable
is
and hardware
getting
improves,
better
it's
and
not hard
better.
to project this workflow forward to a time when diffusion's real time and temporally consistent. Okay, let's look at some other examples of Unreal Engine scenes restyled by artists in the engine using a variety of sources. Some of which are premium environment packs from our friends at Kitbash 3D, and some of which are our own internal assets, including the city sample. Starting from quality source assets leaves less room for interpretation by the models.
Look at that.
These new UE tools are
Come
a force
on.
multiplier that will give artists more opportunities for creative iteration on their work alongside the real-time animation, modeling, texturing, and virtual production tools that you've come to count on in Unreal Engine. So this is where we're headed. The MCP server that's enabling all this is experimental, and what you're seeing here for image and video creation will be available early next year. We're on this journey together, and we're aware that for these models to be truly useful, we need to focus on not just lowering technical complexity, and we're aware that for these models to be truly useful,
Oh, it kind of repeated a little
not
bit.
just lowering technical complexity, but also giving you full creative control over what you're making. Thank you.
I'm gonna mess with Unreal.
Thanks, Pat. That was awesome.
By the way, for people who doesn't know, if you don't know, if you're watching, wherever you're watching, I'm a 3D artist, so I know Unreal Engine. That's one of the engines that I was made, or basically taught to use for rendering and building games. I built a couple of levels. And by the way, Fortnite was one of those games that I worked on right at the beginning, before it became
All right,
Fortnite.
so now you've seen more, even great features, workflow improvements that are all going to help you make awesome games and content. So let's talk about distribution. 2025 was a year of growth for the Epic Game Store, and we're off to a great start in 2026. In our year in review, we reported that December monthly active users reached 78 million, an all-time record for the Epic Game Store. And players spent $1.16 billion in the store across third-party and first-party titles. That's up 6% year over year.
Really?
If you just look at third-party titles, player spending hit $400 million. That's up 57% year over year. And we now have over 6,000 games in the catalog from over 3,000 partners. We offer multiple ways for you to help your business grow. In June of 2025, we announced that developers would keep 100% of the first $1 million of net revenue per product per year, with an industry-leading 88/12 rev share kicking in after that million. We've got Epic First Run, which gives developers the opportunity to keep 100% of net revenue for the first 6 months before launching on other stores.
Okay.
We also have Launch Everywhere with Epic, which gives UE developers a reduced engine royalty rate of 3.5%, down from 5%, when they sim ship their title on the Epic Game Store. Finally, we continue to push on Epic Rewards, granting 5% back to players on all third-party content purchases that are processed by Epic. Now, last year we had a 20% rewards boost through the back half of the year, and we're seeing players continue to spend at heightened levels using the rewards that they.
Like, I do have a very, very big Epic library. I probably bought like 2 games, maybe 3 at the most. The rest, they were all free.
Accumulated
and
earned
tomorrow
during the promotional period.
is Thursday free
In
game.
fact, spending through the first 4 months of the year,
So Epic
on
gonna have
third-party games is
2
up
free games
over
tomorrow.
40% year over year. So beyond these great incentive programs, we're really working to connect the Epic Game Store more closely with the Fortnite ecosystem. And that'll give developers access to an even larger player base. Take our collab with HoYoverse as an example. When players purchased eligible items in Honkai Star Rail on the Epic Game Store, they were granted a Stellaron Hunter Blade outfit that could be used across the entire Fortnite ecosystem, in Battle Royale or in thousands of UEFN games. So some players discovered Honkai Star Rail for the first time in Fortnite. Then they went on to spend on the game in the Epic Game Store. And their spend unlocked a new outfit that they brought back into Fortnite. It's a virtuous circle for both developers and players.
That's cool.
We've got over 30 million, sorry, not 30 million, that'd be a lot. 30 similar collabs planned for 2026, with more coming in 2027.
30 million.
So we're delivering great incentives for both developers and for players, but we need to make the store experience better. And over the last several months, the team's been hard at work rebuilding the launcher.
Oh, I cannot wait to play this game. Phantom Blade.
Dramatically improve performance with reduced cold start times and much
Chrono
faster
Odyssey I want to
browsing.
play too.
We've also been re-architecting the back end of the store, which is going to allow us to ship new player-facing features faster and more frequently. We'll be improving search and discovery, adding a lot of long-awaited community features, and doubling down on delivering an overall better player experience. We are committed to growing the Epic Game Store, and we're not relenting in our mission to give developers access to a high-value global player base with the most favorable terms in the industry.
Okay.
You can learn more about our plans for the Epic Game Store in this session tomorrow. And now that we've covered a bit of what's happening in our ecosystem, let's hear from some of the teams putting it all to work. First, 20 years after Emergence Day, the Coalition is finally telling the story they've always wanted to tell. Darker, more alive, and running at 60 frames per second with hundreds of shadow
E-fucking-day,
casting lights.
man. E-day.
Then Riot Games is doing something most studios would never attempt.
Can't wait for that
Rebuilding
game.
a live PC and mobile game with 300 million players on a new engine, all while keeping the live service running. And finally, the small team at Neon Giant set out to build the densest, most lived-in city they could have ever imagined. A city where every frame tells a story, and every choice you make becomes a part of that story.
Okay.
3 games, 3 very different worlds, 1 engine. Up first, please welcome Kate Rayner from the Coalition.
And before we jump there, I'm going to show you guys something real quick here. Look, this is going to be tomorrow. 2 games Epic gonna have available. Citizen Sleeper. I seen this game. It's almost like cyberpunk kind of game. It looks pretty cool. And to get it for free, look, it's $20. To get it for free tomorrow, come on, guys. If you don't have an Epic account for free, just build one. It's free. It's no subscription to it. Just for every Thursday, there's at least 1 to 2 game free. Come on, I will say, go for it. Let's check this one out. It's also tomorrow. Okay, so far that looks kind of cool. Let's look at this little trailer. I mean, look decent. So you have to do with music because it's called Robot Beat. It's a rhythm shooter game. I do like rhythm game. Okay, so you kind of get an idea on that one. Let's go and hit this one again, Citizen 1, and look at the trailer on it.
Dreaming again?
That looks kind of cool though. Come on.
Every cycle, you take your chances.
For a free game?
You roll your dice. You do the work, get paid, survive. You turn up for your friends, or you don't. That's life on the eye.
This looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna deny that. That does look cool. Some games they're shit from Epic, but the one coming up tomorrow, they're not that bad. All right, let's go back here. And also I'm gonna provide a website here. If you have Amazon Prime, not everybody knows this, but with Amazon Prime, you always get free freaking games. It's luna.amazon.com /claim. Go there. And basically, if you do have Amazon Prime, you could play some of this game like this one right here, even Resident Evil 2, Alien Isolation, look, Guardian of the Galaxy, all this you could play right on your web browser. Easy peasy, right? Right on your web browser. Why not? But if you scroll down this way, look, even Alan Wake, Control, has some pretty good, decent games here, right? Go all the way down. Keep going down until you find this right here. This says claim games. Right here, this games, you can claim it to your store. You could definitely claim. Like if I click this, I already have this. Epic gave this game away, the Tomb Raider, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So I don't need it. It's already in my library. But again, you can see claim. This one, I don't have this platform. Some weird looking platform. I'm not doing that. This one right here, the one here is from something mistaken. This is the Amazon platform, whatever. But anyway, but look, you get Epic, GOG. Most of them is gonna be Epic or GOG. Epic or GOG is gonna be the platform that you'll be getting all this game. Once in a blue, they will be giving games from Steam. You will be getting a game of Steam. Look at this one, Mafia 3, the definitive edition, the complete edition basically for GOG. And if you have this, you can go in now, and all this game. If you haven't collect any of these, you can go collect them. All these. Make sure you scroll almost all the way down to the bottom of the page and go claim games. I do recommend do that now. And tomorrow there's gonna be at least 2 or 3 more games. Tomorrow there's gonna be a couple of more games available also. So if you come in tomorrow, this right here will be gone, and they're gonna be like 3 or 2 more on the top. So make sure to go in as soon as possible so you can claim everything on the bottom and then claim the one for tomorrow. Free games. Who's gonna say no to free fucking game? Even if you don't play, just build your library. And if you don't have a GOG, Good Old Games, get an account for that, so you can get free games too. Good Old Games also, that's where CD Projekt Red, the people who make Cyberpunk, they usually release their game there. If I'm not mistaken, I think they own GOG. But anyway, let's go back to our program here. And continue. I like watching Epic stuff events when they do have one.
Hi,
just
everyone.
to see what they are doing.
It's great to be able to join you today.
I've seen you before.
Gears of War will celebrate its 20th
I
anniversary
knew I
this
see her
year,
before.
And Unreal
Or
Engine
him. I mean,
has been the foundation
she, okay.
of every game since the series first debuted in 2006. For Gears of War E-Day, we made the decision to invest in Unreal Engine 5 and start with a blank hard drive.
If you
and
haven't
rebuild
seen this
everything from
trailer,
scratch to achieve the believability of a world in chaos.
this game looks
Emergence
so
Day is the
freaking
darkest day in our
good.
universe. The day the monstrous locust horde emerged from the ground to lay waste to humanity. And to truly feel the emotional impact of that loss, we needed to return to a dark and gritty visual style. Light and shadow do more than just set a tone, and with Unreal Engine 5, we've pushed our signature Gears style to the next level.
You can climb the shells, like this shells right here. You can climb it and jump over. And let's say an enemy's right here on the wall, like trying to get to you. And you can, if you climb up, you can climb right behind them and boom, blast their ass.
So let's show you a taste of what we've built.
Oh, let's show them with the armor now.
Welcome to the Pay and Save Superstore in downtown Kelowna. In previous games, a space like this was limited to 3 shadow casters in view. With Megalights, we now have hundreds of light sources, all casting shadows at 60 frames per second on Xbox Series X.
Yo, this thing looks crazy.
This TV display wall utilizes animated area lights
Everything
with light
destructible,
functions
too.
that are driven by the video itself fully on the GPU. They each cast eerie and unsettling dynamic shadows with soft penumbra across
Oh my
the scene.
God, looks so good.
The Pay and Save is a great example of how we've created environments with Geometry Collection destructible assets
Come on.
like this tiled pillar.
Come on. Look at that. I
These
mean, that was in
dynamic
original
objects
Gears.
cast and receive
You had
light
this
correctly,
thing
so
destructible. You used to do this all the
destruction
time.
stays visually grounded, exactly the way you'd expect in the real world.
That's nothing new. It's been around
Let's
since Unreal
check out
4.
the freezer section. All these freezers have multiple area lights inside them to simulate that realistic lighting effect of the frozen food section of your local grocery store. During combat, bullets create a dynamic shatter point in the glass. When it shatters, all the pieces collide with the environment using hardware ray trace collision with physically accurate, translucent reflections. It's amazing to see how many light sources
Come on,
there
climb.
are here.
Climb.
There are hundreds of them.
Ooh,
from
look
the
at that.
small lights on
Light
Marcus's
bouncing
armor
off.
to the large spotlights on the ceiling. There is no way we'd ever be able to achieve this effect or have this many ray-traced area lights on current generation hardware without Megalights.
You could have the same, all this scene without all this cursy stuff. It would still
staple
look the
of
same.
The Gears franchise e-holes are back in
You can
Gears
still
of
do
War
this.
today. So
You
let's
just bake the light,
open
bake the
some up.
shadows. You can still do it. No one's gonna notice a fucking difference.
Without all the monsters in the way, you can see all the volumetrics and smoke lit perfectly. One of the things we're super excited about that was unthinkable in the past is having shadows on every single one of our muzzle flashes. This is a really great improvement that adds to the dynamic combat of Gears with a more believable firing experience that puts you right in the middle of the action like never before.
I hate that gun because it has so much recoil. So I want to play it with this gun to see how the how it does it feel now versus
Our
the
game
old
isn't
one.
limited to just a single space. We can explore the entire city of Kelowna with tens of thousands of shadow casting lights.
Are you gonna show me the wire?
Delivering E-Day with this level of visual fidelity has not been easy. But we can iterate so much faster with hardware ray trace lumen compared to the baked lighting we used in the past.
Yeah, big lighting it was a
With
pain.
Megalights, our lighters are no longer constrained by the number of real-time shadow casters, giving them the freedom to light our game with the same complexity as the real world. And we have 100 times the geometric detail in our assets due to Nanite's micro-polygon rendering.
Ooh, look at that car. That car go beat up. Man, they got a lot of car
All
models
these
here.
systems work together to create a highly scalable engine that allows us to consistently deliver a visual showcase across Xbox and PC.
Coalition.
As developers, many of us know there is a difference between a compelling demo and delivering a fully realized vision at 60 frames per second. The Coalition is pushing Unreal Engine 5 and the hardware it runs on to their limits to reimagine the Gears world at an unprecedented level of detail.
Doesn't she look fake? What I mean, like, look like a robot. Like, it just animated this.
Thank you.
Don't want to move too much to kind of kill the illusion. Got you. All right.
We're not out of it yet.
Incoming. Ooh, cannot wait to play this game. I know, even though I got Game Pass, but I'm gonna buy this game. E-Day. You see, wait, July, August, September, October, 4 months.
Hi, I'm Gina, head of tech at Riot on Teamfight Tactics, or TFT as we like to call it. TFT is an auto battler that we originally built as a game mode on the same engine as League of Legends.
Okay.
We built it fast, about 18 weeks from idea to launch, and then it grew way beyond what we expected. TFT has become a leading strategy game with more than 300 million players across the ecosystem, which is kind of wild to say out loud. We've just announced that TFT is moving to Unreal Engine with our next set, Enchanted Wilds. Rebuilding a live game on a new engine while it's still running is not something most games choose to do. It's years of work across engineering, art, design, and production, and that gets even harder when your game is still shipping new sets, events, everything to players on a regular cadence. But that's what we decided to do. I joined Riot to work on TFT, and about 6 weeks in, we made the call to move the game to Unreal. And pretty quickly, we realized this wasn't just about moving engines. It was about what became possible. Building on shared technology, reusing more of what we create, spending less time rebuilding foundations, and more time building TFT. One example is the gameplay
that's the right way to do. You build a lot so you don't have to work too much.
Gameplay as the game grows. And for a game like TFT, where every set brings new mechanics, content, and ways to play, that kind of common foundation matters a lot. It gives us shared building blocks, abilities, attributes, and effects that can be reused across very different parts of the game. And that lets us move faster over time. With Unreal, we had to rethink how the game was built. Architecture, networking, gameplay, even the way the game data is structured had to change. And early versions of the game in Unreal just didn't feel right. Performance was rough.
Get in my
we
ring.
had builds running at around 12 frames per second in an 8-player game.
Got in my charger. Got a smart ring, that's why.
Exactly the target. So the first goal for us wasn't innovation. It was parity. We had to get TFT back. And that meant reworking a lot of systems inside Unreal. Some gave us a strong starting point, others required significant customization, and some we rebuilt from scratch. For example, networking. As we built more of the game and added more content, we started to hit limits. With a huge number of gameplay actors in a match, the default replication approach wasn't enough to meet our server and bandwidth performance targets. So, with Epic's help, we evolved our approach, adopting Iris networking with push-based replication and fast arrays to get the performance we needed. The hard part wasn't getting something working, it was making it work at scale. Gameplay was another big one. We leaned heavily into the gameplay ability system. It's powerful and helped us get something up and running quickly, which, as many of you know, matters a lot early on.
Look cute.
But TFT has sets, modes, and gameplay
That looks kinda
content
cute.
that don't always ship on the same timeline. And pretty quickly, we realized we needed a better way to organize all of it. So we ended up using the Game Features plugin to give that content clearer boundaries and a more scalable way to share systems. And that gave the teams more freedom to build. And then there's mobile.
Ooh.
A huge part of TFT is that it runs on a wide range of devices, including low-end mobile hardware. That didn't change just because we moved engines. And while this has been one of the hardest parts of the migration, it's also one of the reasons we made the move. Mobile is a huge part of how people play TFT, including me, so we invested deeply in custom rendering, memory management, and scaling the game across devices, working closely with Epic to get TFT running where we needed it to. But we're still early in that journey. We're already sharing much more across PC and mobile than we could before, and there's still a lot more we can do for our mobile players. Content migration. I'm guessing a lot of you already know where this is going. TFT has thousands of assets across art, animation, VFX, and audio that had to be migrated. And every type of content broke differently when we brought it over. VFX alone was a massive amount of work. We weren't just converting assets, we were moving between fundamentally different systems. Getting thousands of assets into the engine was one challenge. Getting them back to the quality bar that players expect was another. And we really underestimated how much time this would take. So a huge part of the effort became building the tooling and pipelines to fix, convert, and validate all that content at scale. And that's where Unreal's extensibility really mattered. We could build the systems we needed to make this possible, because there was no world where we were rebuilding all of that by hand. And we kept running into the same pattern everywhere. Unreal gives you a lot, but getting from Unreal to TFT still took a massive amount of work. But we're already seeing the impact of Unreal across TFT. More of the game is built on shared foundations. Mobile and PC share much more of the same UI and underlying systems, and we're able to build on technology and capabilities that exist across Riot. And that's the biggest thing Unreal gave us. Not a feature, leverage. But this move isn't for everyone. For TFT, this is what will let us move faster, take bigger swings, and keep delivering the experiences players expect. Because for us, this is about building TFT into a forever game that players can keep coming back to.
I love League of
Players
Legends.
will get their first opportunity to play TFT on Unreal in just a few weeks. And honestly, I hope players pick it up and say, yeah, this feels like TFT. Because if we've done our job well, they won't be thinking about the engine at all. They'll just be playing TFT.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I hope you all have a great Unreal Fest.
But you know what's going to happen? There's going to be a bug. There's going to be an issue somewhere. And they're going to be blaming, it's because you use Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine sucks so much booty. That's why I did it. Like, yo, I'll put it this way. If you play the game, for example, like Collision, when Gears comes out, that game is going to be flawless. It's going to be flawless. It's not because it's Gears. It's because the team behind it knows how to use Unreal Engine. Every company who uses Unreal Engine and they effed up and their game has a lot of issues because they still learning how to use Unreal Engine. For example, like Expedition 33. They didn't know how to use Unreal Engine, but they learned by working with it. They got really good at it, but they still had to polish the game over and over multiple times and do it on multiple updates. There was a lot of broken stuff. It did not bother me because I took advantage of it and kind of glitched myself through the game if I needed to. And then by the time I get to the end, I was way overpowered. And then I was able to play the game again. And then I just cruised right through it. But again, it's one of those things. If you don't know how to use the engine, your game is going to be acting stupid. And that's what people don't get. It's not it's not the engine. It's the developers working with the engine. The same thing. Fortnite doesn't have any issues, or barely any issues. I should say, barely any issue. If there's any issue, you're never gonna notice.
In
No
our first
law.
game, The Ascent, our small team pushed the out-of-the-box UE4 tech to its limit to make a highly detailed, lived-in cyberpunk
That looks kind of
world.
cool, though.
For our new game, No Law,
Cyberpunk-ish
a
game.
high-fidelity, immersive, first-person shooter set in the unregulated city of Port Desire, we knew that our best starting point would be building a game around the core feature set of Unreal 5, because a small team like ours
Ooh, that
needs
looks
to work with the
good.
engine,
That
not
looks
against it.
good.
We realized early on that out of the box wouldn't be enough. We had to push beyond the default and build our own workflow inside UE5 to make the world we wanted. We're proud of what we did with the Ascent, and No Law is the next step in that same approach. Our constraint was specific. We didn't want the largest world, but the densest, a city that feels lived in at every scale, where every corner carries history and every surface tells a story. Port Desire is shaped by human clutter, cramped market alleys, layered graffiti, worn stickers on electrical boxes, spaces that feel touched and retouched by the people that live there. Our goal was to tell a story with every frame, from a messy apartment where characters go about their lives to the skyline of the city. As a relatively small team, that ambition came with real challenges. We wanted extreme detail everywhere, but we also needed stability and performance without hand optimizing each location. For us, the answer wasn't a single system, but a shift in how we built the world. We prioritized density over scale, and we built a pipeline that let artists handcraft spaces without constantly stripping detail back and without relying on procedural generation. Nanite is what made that approach viable. It lets us keep a high level of detail across surfaces without treating every asset as a trade-off between fidelity and performance. Our custom implementation of FastGeo in combination with the world partition system enables a seamless experience that never breaks. It allows us to have details in every nook and cranny and tell a million small stories. In fact, we have more objects in any given frame than the entirety of the Ascent.
That looks good.
With this workflow, we can preserve detail and density.
Ooh,
in
look
every
at that.
corner, from the smallest bolt on a freighter
That looks
to the
good.
city as a whole, with no invisible walls and no loading. We built tools inside Unreal to help our artists handcraft the entire city, alley by alley, building by building,
That's cool.
block by block. To show
That
Port
is
Desire's
so
full
fucking
range
cool.
as an urban city overrun with vegetation, we needed dynamic lighting. From the cozy, lush midday sun to the darkest, the most dangerous alleys where even the bright neon light does not reach. The challenge was maintaining a fully dynamic day, night, and weather system without unpredictable frame times. Lumen gives the foundation for fully dynamic lighting, and Mega Lights let
Yo,
artists
this is
focus
cool.
on the believability of the space instead of tuning every single light source. Every believable space needs dozens or hundreds of individual light sources.
Look at
From the
his
smallest
arm.
blinking electronic warning light on a camera to the large neon signs above a marketplace. Mega lights allow us to retain the visual fidelity bar we're aiming for while keeping performance considerations low. Once everything is dynamic, it starts to affect the gameplay in more direct ways.
Okay.
Players can shoot out a street lamp, flood a space with a flashlight, or they can leave an area in darkness and have the AI NPCs react to light and shadow, shying away from glare, searching through darkness, or escalating.
That's
when
not,
something
that mechanic
feels
is nothing new. The first time I saw that mechanic was in Splinter Cell.
Let's see who's got the bigger gun, motherfucker.
That was a long time. That was
To make the
early
city feel
2000.
alive, we leaned on the mass framework to drive our crowds. NPC density and types shift based on time of day.
Ooh, look at that. Just by doing that, the technical thing, you can see the NPCs walking through the city and how dense it's trying to make it. That's kind of cool.
Region and weather. In the slums, a storm clears the streets, but in the more sinful parts of Port Desire, even heavy rain
hello,
won't slow
girl.
things down. Mass lets us simulate thousands of characters at once, over 3,000 at any given time, which is also more than the entirety of the Ascent. So the city always feels active, no matter where you are. We're also using MetaHuman, paired with our own character randomization system. Together with MetaHuman Animator,
Look at that
we can
texture.
generate and bring to life thousands and thousands of variations of characters, so that the main characters and the extras in the background are all unique. We wanted a world that reacted systemically to the player, without us having to hand place effects and destruction. Filling a world of this density and scale with contextual effects while maintaining performance and interactivity was one of our key challenges. By combining PCG and Niagara data channels, environmental effects are procedurally populated where appropriate. Wherever artist plays trash or leaves, particles will spawn dynamically based on wind, weather, and player actions. Shoot a bullet or throw a grenade, and particles will move out of the way.
Okay. Yeah.
We combined
Normal
chaos physics and their own GPU-driven solution to support tens of thousands of moving objects simultaneously. The result is a reactive environment where smoke lingers, embers drift, and broken glass stays where it fell.
Yo, that explosion,
has been the
that was
process of
crazy.
finding where the engine ends
That was
and our
cool.
custom tools begin.
I'm sorry, that was cool.
Achieving this level of density, lighting complexity, and systemic reactivity was previously impossible for a studio of our size. By leveraging UE5's latest tech to bypass traditional development bottlenecks, we have finally been able to build the uncompromised version of the world we wanted to create for years. We can't wait for you to experience it. Thank
No
you.
law. I want to play this now. Let me see if they have it on a wish listing on Epic, on Unreal. Come in.
Hello, everyone. I lead the Fortnite developer relations team here at Epic, and I'm here to talk with you about what's happening in the Fortnite ecosystem. Every one of the games on the screen behind me
It's already on my
was
wish
built
list.
by an independent developer. Small teams, sometimes just 2 or 3 people using UEFN, published into an ecosystem of millions of players. For
Right
those
on
of
my
you who
wish
have
list.
been with us in UEFN, some since day one, thank you. Your feedback has really helped shape the tools, and your creativity has shifted how more than 75 million monthly active users experience Fortnite. Your games are a growing share of Fortnite playtime. In May, we saw them capture 47% of all player hours, up from just 38% a year ago. And with over $1 billion now paid out to developers since the launch of UEFN, these teams are building businesses here through engagement payouts and, as of January, in-island transactions. It's introduced more ways to
She sounds like she's running out of breath.
It's opened up new genres and
Is she
helped
pregnant?
developers with smaller, engaged
How old she
communities
is,
thrive.
because
Over 3,000
that
islands
walking
now earn more
forward
from in-island
for
transactions
pregnant women,
than
they will
engagement
be.
payouts. And we're continuing to see a growing share of total payouts coming from in-island transactions.
Kind of look like a
It's been a
pregnancy
boost for genres
dress.
outside of Battle
I think
Royale
she's
and
pregnant.
shooter, and these games now make up over 75% of all in-island transaction revenue. We know it takes trust to build on a platform that's still maturing, and this year, stability and developer effectiveness is our #1 priority. Back in March, we stated our goal to cut iteration times, and we've been making real progress, getting the time it takes to push changes down by an average of 40% or so. That's even higher for larger projects, and we've seen reductions of up to 70%. Plus, expanded live edit support makes iteration faster and more streamlined. Live edits are now applied directly in game mode, and the
Copy and
new
paste.
edit list gives you a clear view of the changes as you work. The consolidated UI simplifies session controls and adds the ability to pause the game, letting you explore the edit the scene with a detached camera. And then work's not done here. We're continuing to drive iteration times down and make UEFN a better tool to build with, release after release.
Okay.
And
That's the
alongside
point.
hardening the tools, we're unlocking more gameplay capabilities. Scene Graph, which is soon to be the foundation of UE6, is maturing quickly in UEFN and giving Fortnite developers far more control and customization than ever before. It underpins new systems like custom items, inventories, and as of our latest release, an initial set of workflows creating custom weapons and animation with SceneGraph.
Okay.
And there's much more on the way, including gameplay attributes, gameplay abilities, and SceneGraph UI.
All right.
We're introducing more and more major engine systems as first scriptable components so that you can spend more time in UEFN authoring gameplay and less time configuring.
How many nights you stood late?
We're also
trying to
opening
remember
up
this.
new types of gameplay with targeted feature sets. Creature-based gameplay tools just shipped with games launching to players this summer. And Fortnite Sidekicks allows developers to tap into the attachment players have already built with their own companions. Developers can now build pet battlers, cozy farming sims, and more.
Yeah!
And we're expanding where those games come to life. Fortnite is back on Google Play and the App Store worldwide, and mobile playtime for UEFN games has more than doubled in the past year. We know that optimizing for mobile hasn't been easy. We're hoping that some of the recent feature releases, like native gesture support and touchscreen layout customizations and finer control over your HUD, can help you build more mobile-friendly games. These mobile features will exit experimental mode in August, enabling experiences and genres that feel more at home on mobile. Our recent Discover changes are already showing results. We've cracked down on spam and duplicate content, sorted islands into clear genres, and personalized Discover to help your games find audiences faster. And later this year, we're going to be doing a full redesign. Video everywhere, personalization across every row, and social signals, including like percentage right on the tile. And a big shift, Discover replaces the lobby as the first thing that players see when they open Fortnite. We'll be diving deeper into the Discover roadmap and the rest of UEFN ecosystem over the next few days. Our IP partner program enables any Fortnite developer to build with officially licensed content from major IP like Lego, Star Wars, Squid Game, and more. Each partnership unlocks exclusive characters, environments, and templates that developers
on the
can
app so I
use
can
to
download
create
the
games
Epic
they
app
can't build
finally.
anywhere
Before they
else.
let me, I had to be in the UK.
One of the OG UEFN developers, Future Trash, has successfully brought their FODE IP to Fortnite and launched a hit game set in a galaxy far, far away. Their founder, Kevin, is here to share more about what they've been up to, so please give him a warm welcome.
I'm good looking in my Epics.
Thank you, Hannah. Hi, everyone. I'm Kevin Marciano, co-founder and CEO of Future Trash, the game studio behind FODE. In 2022, my co-founders, Nate, Scott, Eric, and I, quit our jobs, and we wanted to build the next great party game. We were betting everything on an indie studio with one idea and a lot of passion. We learned fast how brutal that road is. Back-end infrastructure, discoverability, distribution, the walls were everywhere. By early 2023, we only had a few weeks of runway left. I flew to GDC with the Steam Deck in hand, trying to get anyone's attention that cared about what we had built. That's when UEFN got announced, and we thought, why don't we bring our game into Fortnite? We weren't native to UGC, so it felt incredibly risky. After some experimentation with the tools and learning more about the blossoming creator economy, we could see the potential. We rolled up our sleeves and shipped our first game in under 3 weeks. We hit publish and got player feedback almost instantly. And that's when it settled in. This was going to be our path forward. And that bold pivot didn't just save our company, it changed our perspective on the future of the games industry. What UEFN gave us wasn't just a platform, it was direct access to our audience. No gatekeepers, no publisher approval. You just have an idea, you build it, and players play it. We've now reached a scale of players we genuinely never thought would be possible as a small studio. From a MOBA that didn't quite land with the Fortnite audience to our first breakout hit, Boom Tycoon, we had the opportunity to experiment with a wide range of genres and discover what felt right for our creative sensibilities on the platform. And as a studio obsessed with world building, character-driven experiences, and building original IP, UEFN became our creative sandbox and our distribution layer at the same time. Star Wars has always been a creative inspiration to everyone on our team since childhood.
I'm so happy.
None of us ever dreamt that we'd be able to craft our own game using the iconic IP with essentially
That's a
total
Mandalorian
creative
movie.
control. The droids of Star Wars, they do the hardest work, they survive the worst odds, and they get the least amount of credit. And we thought, let's make a game about them. Droid Tycoon was our love letter to these unsung heroes of the Star Wars universe. It's hard to believe that this game could have existed anywhere else. And that's how we see the future of how legacy IP will embrace UGC native creators to foster an infinite extension of their content universe. That's where the most exciting stories are going to be told. And you all showed up to prove it. Since we launched the map, Droid Tycoon became the most played UEFN game in Fortnite by hours. It climbed to the second most played game across all Fortnite in its first weekend. And earlier this month, it set a new record for the highest number of concurrent players over a 2-hour period, which is the strongest performance ever achieved by an IP experience in Fortnite. Looking ahead, our ambitions are to continue pushing the boundaries of what's possible on the platform in terms of visual quality and storytelling.
I
We
do
will
like
continue
the art
building our
style
own
for
original
Fortnite.
IPs
It's a
while
pretty
also
nice
making
art style,
immersive
though.
experiences for the franchises that inspire us most. Thank you.
You've been that way since 2010.
Thanks, Kevin, for sharing your story and creative process, and especially for bringing the Star Wars IP to life in Droid Tycoon in a way that has connected so deeply with fans. Droid Tycoon is a standout representative of some of the big highlights we had this year in Disney and Fortnite. Let's take a look.
Woo! I finished that show. That looks good.
To infinity and beyond.
Wow.
Behold, giant food from the sky.
This partnership is anchored in one conviction. Disney stories should reach fans where they already are, and that's increasingly in games. And it extends beyond Epic and Disney. Developers, you're in this too, with the agency to build your own experiences and tell your own stories using the IP that you know and love. Early in my game dev career, my dream was to make games in the Star Wars universe. I was fortunate enough to be able to do that, and it's been a great full circle moment for me personally to see developers experience the thrill of making their own Star Wars games for the first time.
It's kind of cool, though.
What's happened since we launched this IP program has exceeded everything we expected. Star Wars came to UEFN and developers ran with it. Galactic Siege, Escape Vader, Droid Tycoon, all built with tools available to everyone in this room. 8 million players in 72 hours overall. Galactic Siege had 6.5 million players, and Escape Vader had 3.4 million plays in just the first 6 days. And Droid Tycoon became the #2 most played island in Fortnite within a week. All of us at Disney want to congratulate and thank Beyond Creative and Jogo for their contributions on their exemplar island launches, along with Droid Tycoon. In The Mandalorian and Grogu Watch Party Island, fans were able to watch the first 10 minutes of the film before it ever hit theaters. This is a new model for what studio IP and the creative pipeline can look like, going beyond IP access and toward creative continuity and immersion in worlds that feel real. Star Wars, though, was just one chapter in a year where games meaningfully extended our storytelling. As Percy Jackson returned to Disney Plus for Season 2, Siege of Monsters, created by our friends at Gauntlet, offered a new way to experience that world, while our own Disneyland Game Rush.
What do you mean Season 2? Season 2 just finished. It finished a while back. You mean Season 3? This has to be Season 3 because Season 2 already passed.
Translated the energy from Anaheim and Disneyland's 70th anniversary into playable form. And our Disney, Pixar, Lucasfilm, 20th Century, and Marvel outfit collabs continue to remain amongst the most popular in Fortnite. That goes beyond a traditional IP arrangement. It's iconic Disney stories in the hands of more creatives, reaching more fans than ever. And we can't forget our favorite animated family from Springfield, who had one crazy month-long season last year. This season had over 80 million unique players with over 750 million hours played. The reach speaks for itself. We were so excited to see players come into Springfield, but we've also loved watching citizens of Springfield cross over into parts of UEFN. Let's take a look at some highlights from one of our favorite streamers.
Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Bart S reacts to an idiot playing Fortnite. Here's how Homer gets us to school every day. The fat is strong with this one. Hey, look, it's Jurassic Pork. Here's Dad having a meeting with my teacher, Mrs. Krabappel. Here we go, the titanic battle between two old men with breathing problems. Okay, dinosaurs and stormtroopers are tough for Dad, but when he's on his home turf in his Springfield island, he'll probably just choke on his own donut cannon.
That was cute. That was cute. That was very cute.
36 years in, the Simpsons still feel like everyone's family. But today, they're finding a new home. We are so excited to announce The Simpsons is joining the IP Partner Program later this year. Springfield will be yours. Characters, locations, radioactive waste, all UEFN ready. But hey, kind to Flanders. But based on what we've seen, Springfield's in good hands. Thank you to all the amazing developers in this community. We look forward to seeing what you create next. Now back to Epic.
From the first time we went supersonic
to
right here, right now, it's fitting that at the largest celebration of our game, in front of the greatest fans in the world, we celebrate that history. To all of our friends here in Paris and those watching all around the world, this is the future, and this is...
On the new engine. New engine. I said it. And then show the car. It's gonna be what? A real engine 6? What I said? Was it gonna be on the real 6? Okay, okay.
Hey, everyone.
Team Sweeney.
All right, at the Rocket League competitive series in Paris, we gave the world the first glimpse of Unreal Engine 6.
Okay.
And this is the next step in our mission, to make great games and tools and to share them with you so you can bring your ideas to life. And I'm here to talk to you about what we're building now for the future. Today, things are kind of awkward. There's actually two different ways to build stuff in Unreal. There's building Unreal Engine 5 games for standalone distribution on stores with massive AAA features. And then there's the Unreal Editor for Fortnite feature set and tool set that enables you to build a game once and then deploy it to all platforms live into Fortnite with its 80 million monthly active users. Now, each of them has some really cool, unique features, but is lacking the features of the other one. And so our big initiative to bring them together is the core of the Unreal Engine 6 effort. It's UE5 plus UEFN equals UE6 plus some more cool stuff on the way. The vision is that if you build things once the Unreal Engine 6 way, then you can have a game that you can ship everywhere, including the console stores, the PC stores, the mobile stores, and also ship live into the Fortnite ecosystem or any other Unreal Engine 6-based game ecosystem built by any other developer. Now, in prior generations, we put graphics first in leading and announcing our technology. But with the Unreal Engine 6 generation, we're focusing first and foremost on the foundations of the engine to prepare for the next generation of game development and for gaming. And the most critical change here is the move to the verse programming language for gameplay development alongside the low-level C++ engine. And the reason for this is to enable massive scale code and content interoperability across games. Today we have a lot of content interoperability features. You go to the Fab content marketplace, you download a bunch of cool objects, you stick in your game, but then you have to wire them up and make it work yourself.
Okay.
And the Unreal Engine 6 generation, by having a unified set of APIs and a unified language that works everywhere, you'll be able to build smart assets that are completely portable between games and between projects and can be shared at any scale, with the potential to have millions of developers collaborating together on a shared body of work that anybody can use. Another hallmark aim for the Unreal Engine 6 generation is to enable far larger game simulations. You know, the original Battle Royale movie in 1999 that inspired the Battle Royale genre of games, fortunately, just happened to have 100 people dropping onto an island. It's a nice coincidence because that's actually the maximum number of players our code base could support running on a single thread on a server. If they had 1,000 players, we wouldn't have been able to do it. But the goal of Unreal Engine 6 is to introduce software and transactional memory technology, which Curtis Schmidt will talk more about later, in order to enable scaling of games to any amount of computers that can fit into a data center. Hundreds, thousands, potentially even millions in the future. And this is technology that's in the research lab, and the team is working very rapidly to make into a practical shipping system. Another major aim of Unreal Engine 6 was something I first talked about at the SIGGRAPH computer graphics show back in 2016. There I talked about a potential future of gaming as an open system like the web is open, in which any developer can run a server, build a game, host their own content, and the user can go anywhere they want from place to place, bringing all of their stuff with them, and tearing down the walls and barriers that exist between games to have a completely interoperable ecosystem. And you know, the Rocket League preview of Unreal Engine 6, if you looked at the very last frame of it, there was a little URL bar on top. The URL was verse://rocketleague.com. And we're tantalizingly close now to fully realizing this idea of an open gaming ecosystem with the ability to travel from game to game and independent developer freedom to build everything they want everywhere they go. And our aim at Epic is to work with all developers in the industry to build this system together as peers. We want a system with no overlord. You know, we've been spending some time fighting against overlords in the industry with some amount of success. And we don't want to be the next one. Rather, we want to be a partner to every company in the industry.
They don't want to be the next one. They are the next one. Because to work for Epic is harder than trying to get a job with the government. I'm telling you, because I know.
Including all game developers and also other makers of technology.
It's easy to work for the Pentagon, the White House, anywhere in the world that has to do with government than to work with Epic.
Effort is going to be Epic.
It's a lot harder.
Open standards like the Pixar USD file format, and GLTF, and also working with standards bodies and releasing specifications to bring new standards into the industry where they're lacking and needed. I'll be talking more about that later, but right now I'd like to introduce Marcus Wasmer to talk about the architecture of Unreal Engine 6. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Tim. So let's just take a second look at the recent history of
Unreal
Engine. So Unreal Engine 4 opened the engine to everyone by making the tools free to use and the source accessible
That's where I started,
on
Unreal Engine 4.
And UE5 reinvented how worlds are built, helping you go bigger, add density and dynamic detail, and do it faster than ever before.
In Unreal 6?
UE6 has a different proposition.
Okay.
It's about evolving how we ship and operate our games. That said, UE6 will keep doing the things you want an Unreal Engine to do. Rendering will keep getting better, cook times will come down, iteration loops are getting tighter, mobile is increasingly capable. However, we believe for UE6 that there are 3 things about game development that need to change at the same time.
What?
First, gameplay programming needs to get simpler for creating persistent, live, large-scale worlds.
Okay.
And Verse is the foundation for Epic's future programming model. It's a next-generation language purpose-built to power massive, persistent game worlds at scale, where global state just works and transactionally correct concurrency is handled by the runtime. We've built a modern high-level gameplay framework on top of Verse that gives you a true foundation to build games and experiences easily and to share their interoperable components between games. You'll hear more about our goals and architecture for this programming model from our technical director on the project in a few minutes. But for now, let's talk about the second guiding principle of UE6.
Okay.
Content and code should be portable across games and even engines.
Yes.
Our goal is to give the games industry a whole new way to grow our ecosystems with cross-promotion, portable player value, and to really lean into all the positive sum dynamics that Metcalfe's law predicts for connecting experiences and social graphs together. And we're going to do this with a determined effort to move UE beyond just extensibility and into open specifications for interoperability. Where existing standards such as GLTF or USD are capable of fulfilling our needs, we'll make them first-class formats within the engine. And where a standard doesn't yet exist that serves the needs of game ecosystems, we'll open up Unreal's own systems as open specifications with Verse APIs, defined asset conditions, and documentation that any engine, tool, or studio can implement against. And Fortnite Cosmetics will be our first real proof point of portability. We're going to start by moving the base system to an open UE6 module that's usable by all games. And this means that you'll have the option to use a player's entitled Fortnite outfits in your own games, and you'll get the tools to build outfits for your own games that work inside Fortnite. And we're tackling this problem first because we want to prove things out with a system that's complex enough to be a meaningful existence proof of the idea, and one that inherently comes with a ton of player value by respecting their purchases across an interconnected ecosystem of games. We see this as the first step towards building a shared economy for smart assets, functional assets with logic and functionality that work across games to recognize players' time and spending in a better way. In the end, this isn't really a Fortnite story. It's just about proving that such a mature, complex system can work at scale, and that every game that works with these systems will immediately benefit from them. Happily, we're taking the first concrete steps to such an open e-system right now.
If they can manage
MetaHuman has
that,
been adopted by
that's
some of the most
fucking
successful
cool.
games in the world and is rapidly becoming a standard for digital characters. And that's why today we're announcing the MetaHuman Dev Kit, opening up our RigLogic and MetaHuman DNA toolsets under the MIT license so that you can deliver MetaHumans in any game, any engine, any platform. To learn more, thank you. Yeah. So to learn more, please come to our talk right after this.
Really? Oh, really?
Moving on, no tech presentation would obviously be complete without a conversation about AI. So to get one of the fun talking points out of the way, there's some speculation going around that game engines will be superseded by
We don't care.
models. And we don't actually think that's what happened next. What does, we think, is much more interesting. That AI-assisted game creation will tighten iteration loops, reduce time-consuming manual setup of levels, character rigs, particle systems, getting bone weights, adjusting lighting, all of the manual work required to translate professional, creative intent into performant and cross-platform games. And crucially, Unreal Engine is uniquely placed to be the efficient, cross-platform, high-fidelity runtime that will remain the substrate on which much of the world's best games run. Thus, for UE6, we see LLMs, Gen AI models, and tools like Claude, Gemini, and so on as playing a central role in building content faster with the creative control that you need. And as you saw earlier, the future of these workflows is a fluent translation layer between natural language intent and your production pipeline. Our goal for UE6 is to greatly reduce the tedious work in authoring content to leave more time for creative exploration and increase the amount of iterations a team can make to polish their content. UE6 will ship with these workflows battle-tested against internal development and in UEFN. And while we've mostly been showing and talking about content creation, coding and engineering are important as well. Internally at Epic, we've been doing a lot of investigation to see what works and what doesn't. And we recently opened up pretty broad usage for code generation and AI analysis across our back-end, engine, and game development engineering teams. We've had a lot of great success stories. We've had particular success with people writing custom tools for their own work, fast code indexing tools for helping LLMs deal with large code bases like for crashes, automated test generation, cases on content workflows. 5 to UE6, so let's talk about that for a second.
What?
UE6 converges 2 threads of development we've been running in parallel.
Okay.
UE5 for high-end standalone game and content development, and Unreal Editor for Fortnite as the live environment where our new programming model is getting battle tested. UE6 will combine these 2 products into one. As UE5 and UEFN merge into one editor, you will be able to ship traditional games and projects exactly as you do today. You'll be able to ship directly in Fortnite, or ship your own ecosystem and optionally make it compatible with ours. You'll have an easy path from one to the other. Actors and blueprints will be in early versions of UE6. Eventually, these will be deprecated when the new framework. Everyone should be able to move their projects to 6.0, as it will still have all of the mainline UE5 tech. 2027-ish. We know how game dev works around here. However, Epic will be shipping things on the tech stack ahead of the early access release, just to make sure we get it right. 6.0 will be released 12 to 18 months following the early access release, and we expect just about everyone should be able to move their projects to 6.0, as it will still have all of the mainline UE5 tech, except for Cascade, where we're killing that one. That one's not going to make it. So get on the Niagara train. That said, we will be taking the opportunity to make some big architectural and other breaking changes that we wouldn't normally do in a point release, so you can expect a similar upgrade path from UE5 to 6 as we had for 4 to 5. We'll keep everyone up to date on our progress as development continues, and now
from functional, logic, and imperative languages, and it should feel immediately familiar to anyone who's worked in languages like C# or Python before.
Oh, okay, that's me.
It also has some unique features aimed at solving the complexity and scaling problems of modern game development, starting with this unique software transactional memory model, or STM. Now, all functions in Verse run as part of atomic transactions, which can be rolled back and resimulated as needed. And this lets us do a lot of interesting things in our game's code. So for example, to check if an object can be successfully moved in the world, we can simply set its position, then do our spatial queries to see if it's hitting anything. If it is, we abandon the entire transaction, reverting the entire operation, and pretending the code never ran at all. Now, Verse's transactional memory model can also help us address another big problem in game development, building enormous worlds with larger player counts.
All right, let's just stop it there. It's getting boring to me. All right, so right now they are talking stuff that is like very technical. I understand it, but you guys may not give a effing fly about it. All right, so that's has been a pretty good run. Some gaming news happening. So it looked like Unreal Engine 6 is coming in sometime 2027-ish, like he said. And we have Lord of the Fallen 2. That is looking amazing. It's coming in October, so 4 months away. So I'm already psyched for that. All right, guys. So for now, I'm going to be calling quits. I'm going to be getting ready to get on a road trip right now. in the next couple of minutes, maybe in an hour or so. I'm gonna need to get ready, probably take a shower or so. I'll be heading out to Connecticut, and I'll be there for the next couple of days, and I'll be back before Saturday. Or by Saturday, should I say? But I'm mostly before Saturday. Sometime like Friday evening or whatever. I just need to drop. I need to take some stuff over there. Like a 6.5 hour drive. I'm not happy. I want to be here and just stream instead. But anyway, I'm gonna be heading there, so I have to do that. So I should be back by Saturday. If I don't stream Saturday, I'm probably definitely gonna be streaming on Sunday. I know I was gonna stream yesterday and Monday, but again, things are happening around my area right now. So it's kind of pushing me here, pushing me there. So it's making it harder. Hopefully everything comes down and then I can get back to the group or whatever. And I do apologize if I'm not streaming as much as you guys may want me to, or I want to. But life, you just cannot fight life sometimes. You got to go with the punches, roll with the punches, basically. All right, for everyone who joined in today and for everyone who leave me likes or whatever, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Has been a pretty good evening so far, and I will see you in the next one. So hopefully Saturday. All right, guys.